before a joint session of Congress has sparked criticism from Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. He calls Netanyahu a, quote, war criminal who's responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of Palestinians. Netanyahu does not deserve the honor of addressing Congress.
Let me see.
The Israeli Prime Minister has agreed to make the address, but no date has been set yet. Sanders will not attend.
As such, we'll continue. I don't know, I might finish it today, maybe not, you know.
Each week leading up to this year's
Maybe I want to make it last a little bit, you know, and
taking a deep dive on the issues that matter most to both.
The White House series focuses on foreign policy, and as Faraz Ravid of Scripps News Detroit reports, the war in Gaza is becoming a key issue in the race between President Biden and former President
I think it's
Trump.
called,
The political landscape in the U.S. has changed drastically since the start of the Israel-Hamas war back in October of last year. Here in Dearborn, Michigan, the home of the first Arab-American city in the country, the community has been expressing its dissatisfaction against President Biden's handling of the war. And since then, campaigns like Abandon Biden, Uncommitted, have all sprung up. And now, over the months, the reach has gone beyond the border of the city.
It's two options. You either become desensitized and do nothing, or you become enraged and do something.
Mikhail Goodman, Lexi Zidane, and Joshua Feinstein are some of the key members of the Uncommitted movement.
We're talking about a generational movement.
A campaign that rang in more than 100,000 Democratic uncommitted votes in the key swing state of Michigan during the February primary.
We actually turned 42% of unlikely and non-likely voters to the polls.
While President Biden won the state with more than 618,000 votes, Oakland University political science professor Dave Dulio says the Biden camp is worried because in 2020, the president won Michigan by only 154,000 votes.
That is a tranche of votes that could end up determining the outcome, actually, in a state that's going to be as close.
yeah, let's,
For comparison, when President Obama ran for re-election in 2012, he faced about 20,000 uncommitted voters in Michigan's primary. What are you guys
in 2 words? We're not thinking about come November. We're thinking about.
All right, let's roll.
Everything every day to lead up to that down ballot races to get at the state level, to get at the U.S. Congress level, the U.S. Senate level, so that we can have people represent the people. It's not like those folks are going to go and vote for Trump, but any vote that doesn't go to Biden is a benefit for Trump. And
It's a benefit for Trump.
Michigan is a state that is absolutely critical
let me
for
see.
Joe Biden's path
We're on
to
chapter 7, right?
electoral votes.
A recent Harvard-Harris poll shows Democrats overall support Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas conflict. But Professor Dulio says for Biden, the balancing act is going to be tough.
We may end up alienating both
There's a lot
sides.
here.
When people come and say you guys are Americans, you guys should be focusing on issues that are impacting Americans here, how do you answer that?
Our largest budget is our military budget.
Exactly.
And when we want to up our military budget and increase our military budget, the first things we cut from is healthcare and education.
And a
healthcare
crowbar.
and
What do I
education
need a crowbar for?
brown and black communities across this country.
For Scripps News, I'm Faraz Jami.
The path to the White House runs through Scripps country. Our reporters have lived and worked for decades in 7 of the 8 states that will likely
The
decide
8
who becomes
machines from
Trump's
this
president.
unusual
These are
expedition,
numbers.
this
Scripps
one
News
is
diving
by
into
far the
key issues,
most
taking on a new topic each week leading up to
problematic,
the first presidential
even
nominee
dangerous.
convention in July.
It's
Coverage
extraction
each week culminates with a special Scripps
brought
News
us a number
report
of
to path to the
problems
White
and
House
objects
every
unpredictable
Thursday
that
night
could cause
at 9:30
a
Eastern.
few wounds. Dr.
It's almost time for summer
Shrek.
gathering, but we're not people who don't eat meat.
like
They still, of course, want to be invited to the cookout. World-renowned chef Marcus
IR.
Take a look at him there, live picture. There we go. Hello from New York. He gives us some plant-based.
Anyway, his face,
After this break.
along with his interns, who was in charge that
Hi,
afternoon.
I'm Susan from Humanitan.
We are guessing that this
We're all
sheet's
watching our
purpose
budget
is
and
to
making
act
choices
as a
on what
link
matters
between
most.
the
One
redacted
thing that
and the
should really matter is dental insurance.
It's many
Because the fact is,
cables.
great oral health is critical to your overall health. And your overall health matters most to us. That's why Humana Dental is committed to helping you keep your teeth and gums healthy. Just call the number on your screen or visit us online.
As a safety
at
measure, the device has
humanadental.com
been
for free quote.
unplugged and dismantled
We'll help
in
you choose from a
separate pieces
range of
before
dental
being sent to
plans
Earth.
designed to fit your whole
This
family's
could be
needs.
challenging.
And our plans are affordable,
PLT
starting as low as
416
$18.
by
That's only 60 cents a day. Plus, Humana Dental has plans with low deductibles.
It's Colonel, you get it?
Call the number on your screen or visit us online at humanadental.com for a free quote. We're here to help. You'll find getting dental insurance has never been easier.
It is advisable to not power it up again before putting it on display.
You get savings on basic procedures like fillings, extractions, and more.
Before putting it
You'll
on
also get
display.
100% coverage for in-network preventive
Putting
care.
it on.
Plus, Humana Dental offers savings on major procedures like root canals, crowns, and dentures. Do you have a dental condition?
That don't make sense.
Don't worry. At Humana Dental, you won't be turned down for coverage. Need coverage soon?
Every
At
container.
Humana Dental, you can use your new benefits in as little as 5
compartments.
days. And you can choose from over 100,000 dentists and specialists. Need a vision plan?
Made in Germany?
Humana also offers plans as low as $12 a month, including coverage for exams, plus lenses and frames, or contacts.
Yeah, it's
Questions? Call to talk to us today. We're here to help you. Because when it comes to getting fast, easy to use,
On a crowbar.
affordable dental insurance, it pays to know the facts. Call now or
Oh,
go
I
online
need
for information and a free quote.
I
We'll
need
get
code
you
for the
covered.
lock.
Humana.
Didn't put the code for the lock?
Way to healthcare.
Didn't put the combination?
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do.
It's here.
Our firm has
Oh,
been
you don't
offering a free
know
book on
that
mesothelioma for over 10
reactivate
years. Since that time, thousands with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them against those responsible. We have local offices throughout the U.S.
How am I gonna find
Mesothelioma really is all we do, and there is no
combination?
risk to you. Let us put a plan in place for you and your family.
R14?
Call us at 800-872-5645 or go to mesolaw.com.
When a car breaks down, a race car driver would call a pit crew. You should call Endurance.
I've had 4 claims for over $8,700.
R14?
Without Endurance, breakdowns can cost thousands. With Endurance, you're covered. And you pick the mechanic you trust.
Right now, you can get $300
Okay,
off
how do I find the combination?
Plus a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free, all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-855-789-5424 for a free quote.
How do I find the combination? Oh, maybe that's what the crowbar's for, huh?
Well, we all know burgers, ribs, hot dogs, those are the
Looks like a good
traditional
balance.
options for your typical summer cookout. But now many people are starting to shift in a more sustainable
Right.
direction.
Indeed, a new survey shows now that a third of adults in the U.S. are trying to cut back on the amount of meat they eat, even if they're not planning to become vegan or vegetarian, right? Just to kind of scale the meat consumption back. So to help people not get left out of the cookout this year, literally, not the cultural phrase, literally, not get invited to the cookout. We wanted to ask this renowned award-winning chef for some advice.
How's that?
Please welcome
Huh?
Iron Chef.
This looks like it was taken. It has taken part of eating. Pretty easy course. Alright, so I guess we can't,
Born in Ethiopia and raised in Sweden, he's a man with a
He's a
unique
combination, huh?
culinary story who now calls New York City home. His food celebrates diverse cultures and flavors, and makes him one of the most well-known chefs on the planet.
Yes,
nobody ever
indeed.
tried
Mark
it.
Samuelson joining us
You know?
live now. He's won multiple competition shows, including Top Chef Masters and Shop All Stars, and owns several restaurants all around the world. As a former resident of New York, Miss Red Rooster and Harlem Man had many memorable meals there. So great to see you, even sitting here in Atlanta. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Look at this. We got New York City right behind me here. So if you ever want to come back, you know where it's at.
I know where my first meal will be for sure.
Chef, what about plant-based meals, though, at the barbecue? This sounds like it could be kind of complicated.
Finally grilling season.
Yeah,
It's finally grilling season. I'm so excited. And yes, you don't always have to put meat or fish or animal protein on that grill. Because of our
No, I guess it doesn't have a combination.
They set you up for the whole year. We can grill beautiful.
It'd be nice if they, everybody, pretty interesting shit to put a combination on it, just to get people like me to
vinaigrette, and
give it a go.
this is an opportunity where you can get
Ichi, ya, mia.
all year round. Because at farms like Gucci Farm, they make sure that you have locally grown, greenhouse grown vegetables all year round. It's all about flavor, so you want to be delicious, right? So grilling vegetables on the grill. I'm even grilling strawberries. I'm grilling fruit. That's how much I love grilling. So
Wow.
I got
Yep.
I got my glaze here. It's, you know, a nice little glaze with a little bit of miso and some zest of lemon. I'm just gonna dress that right here, just like this, right? Put that on. And look at this bowl here. Where I have my cucumber, beautiful lettuce. You know, this is really about celebrating vegetables. And think about vegetable
thing,
you
they will
want to
actually
trust your source.
taste
That's what's so great with White Farms and Rich Farms is that greenhouse grown vegetables all year round, locally produced, no bad pesticide or anything harmful in it, that you can trust it, and you can make that delicious meal. So I'm telling you, go out there and grill this season. It's all about vegetables and fruit. Look at this, how good this looks. And then we're just gonna drizzle.
Like there's a dial over here.
Drizzle this on top.
Now look,
right?
Marcus, that looks delicious and wonderful. Now look, and as much as you can imagine being at a cookout and not getting some baby bags, I'm gonna take this ride with you. So tell folks what are some things that you like to grill the most, or that you would think could be grilled or actually pretty good if you want to stay away from the meat.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you think about what is it you think about when you think about meat? That umami flavor. You can develop that with vegetables just as well. Whether there's grilled peppers, or whether there's an amazing sweet potato, carrot, or beautiful cauliflower. And the glaze is really key, and that's what we have this glaze here with miso, a little bit of lemon zest, ginger, garlic. Once that glaze hits the vegetable, it caramelizes, and you create that beautiful amount of flavor. Like I said, I'm even grilling my fruits this year, so I'm doing this grilled strawberry. Everybody's had a cobbler, right? This is a grilled strawberry cobbler. It's absolutely delicious. Those familiar flavors that you know, but just putting the grilling in a little bit, giving that just a little bit different set that makes it yours.
0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,
Great
60,
advice.
70, 90.
And then you listen, hey, whatever you do to improve your diet, be healthier, so all good options there, sir. Celebrity Chef Marcus Abramson, as always, sir, thank you very much. Happy summer to you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
You know, for that.
Send me some of those strawberries, man.
Sounds good. All right, we're going to take you now to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, where just moments from now, NASA and Boeing will be launching the Starliner capsule on the first manned voyage into space. NASA test pilots Butch Wilmore and Sumi Williams are headed to the International Space Station, where they will spend at least a week
I guess I gotta
before
try the
aiming to
dials,
bring their craft back to Earth. Starliner, a replacement for NASA's now retired space shuttles, and today's launch is the third attempted launch for the Starliner. We'll see what happens there.
Keep an eye on that. Well, if you're still looking for a Father's Day gift for that special...
Oh, these are containers. Okay.
One gift that may not prove as
You have 4
good.
containers, huh?
It could definitely be worth
attitude.
Exactly. And it could definitely be worth a shot. We like that kind of tease. We'll explain next.
Today, starting at noon, Scripps News on the scene takes you to where the latest news is breaking. Then free, it's Scripps News Live and informed. Get financial news you can use in less than an hour. On Scripps News. All eyes are going to be on Arizona in 2024. It's a battleground state, and really, there's just a handful of states that are going to decide who's up in the White House in November. Arizona is one of them. Underground Scripps
14, so it'll be a 10 and a 4.
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves in getting you the exact same nationwide coverage that the leading carriers like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's a perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones.
5, 6, one's
We
missing.
probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. It's the state-of-the-art cameras you want with space-age rental housing. We got it. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip. Doesn't need all that mumbo jumbo and just want something simple.
You got a set like this?
We do.
No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change,
No problem.
with our SmartFlex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip
So let me see.
and you're using a bunch of data. We can
It
simply
would
flex
be
you up to the next
white,
data tier for as little as
green,
$5. Then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no
then
penalty. So you won't
more
be paying
there.
for what you
It's
actually
gonna be
need.
With
aqua,
Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same
Red,
nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the
blue, and
cost.
orange.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Well, our award-winning customer service helped me switch over. I had like $15 to make my own family plan.
Of course they will.
Is it easy?
That'll be
Easy as pie.
See that tower up there? It's a beauty. And there are thousands more like it, working hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation, you can pay nothing. Oh, look.
New customers who buy a new phone get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st. Call 1-800-485-8390 or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
Why isn't that
She knows what she's talking about.
All the time in weight loss, we focus on all the things we can't do. But our bodies can do a lot of things. Amazing things, hard things, fun things, things that feel good, things that are hard but worth it. Everything
like
that
that?
care plans
Is it opposite? Are you gonna do the opposite?
can do. Big steps,
Well, I can't
little
move.
steps, or lots of steps. It's a simple plan personalized to you and your goals. So discover what your body can do. Get started today at everlywell.com.
That won't move.
And you're taking a live look now at the Indy Space Center in Florida, where we have liftoff there, the Starliner capsule on its first manned voyage into space.
This is really important because there's an issue on the ISS with the water system and the toilet system, and this has the repairing image on it. It's been delayed over and over and over again, so it needs to get up there. Not just because this is the replacement for this, the shuttles, but it needs to get some really important equipment up to the ISS.
I think this is the third attempt, right?
Yeah.
Smooth sailing so far, so strong.
Yeah. Now it doesn't have, as we remember from the space shuttles, that has the where the other rockets kind of go. It's a different design, so everything looks good right now.
All right. Well, speaking of fire.
The makers of Fireball Whiskey offering a unique Mother's Day gift for dads who love golf and whiskey.
Well, what would be the opposite?
Take a look here at the Fire Iron Golf Club. It's a 5-iron that has 5 compartments to accommodate shots of Fireball whiskey. It's not exactly cutting edge golf tech, but it may help Dad reach the green on his approach shot. It can also help him. I don't really care if he does or not.
That's fantastic.
It's about a good time, right? It's to get a good time.
Like literally just put Velcro and Velcro some shot.
That's it. Very high production.
It's fantastic.
That's a good technology there. Happy
Father's Day is about a week away.
Yeah.
I know. Well, a couple in New York was magnet fishing in Queens. Who doesn't?
Who doesn't do that in Queens?
When they had a big catch, a safe, and it contained $100,000.
Upset.
Oh, that's money.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Wow. Oh, it is. Stacks of bills, dude. Hundreds. Oh, there's another stack. Oh my God. The couple now, to be clear, the couple did turn in the safe to the NYPD in case it was part of a crime. But the police were not able to connect it to anything because the money is soaked, of course, and there was no ID found in the safe. So the couple gets to keep the money, which they're now taking to the Treasury Department in D.C. to hopefully be reconstructed. That's a lot of work. At least that one better remember than Geraldo years ago went to the Titanic. They're in the safe and they're like,
73.
Build up for hours and hours live on Fox.
I guess they're
like bricks and dirt.
Nothing. Code and it was all drunk.
Was it Titanic?
What is it? Delta Bones Hall, Chicago.
Okay, I knew it was Geraldo. Okay.
Because like, you know what we're doing later? We're going to Piedmont Park here. I'm going to get a magnet.
Exactly.
Lake at Piedmont.
Magnet fishing.
And finally some money laundering we can all be proud of. Okay, well, family on vacation is reflecting on how they got their room raided by unexpected guests. I love this video.
Yeah, this is crazy, all right, and they're going to not want to pay their bill here. There's a lot of monkey business going on here near the Iguazu Falls in Argentina after what started as a peaceful morning. A group of cheeky pirates made friends with Jackson as a family. They were sitting on the balcony, smiling at him until, look, right here, come into the room, watch what happens.
Here we go, and he goes for it. Comes across, grabs the snacks, and he's out the door. He raided the mini bar, took them out to his friends, didn't even share with his friends, right past him. Then same group of monkeys later came back and tried to pull the door open to get even more snacks out of the mini bar. Did he pull the door open? Yeah, the lid open. So he came in and then left it slid open. But later the monkeys were trying to find an open. They couldn't get the door open.
The joke's on them because the mini bar, that bag of chips cost $27.
There you go.
I love that. That guy was quick.
He knew where he was going.
Wait a minute. Oh, open up the ribbon. Okay.
He's done it before, yeah.
He's done this before. Ain't his first time.
No one's gonna recidivist monkey.
Ah, so it wasn't. Okay. So,
4 days of
okay,
top
so,
of the hour. That happens on me.
Factor Total Beets is the #1 beets brand in America. That's why friends and family recommend Total Beets. Now you can find Total Beets blood pressure chews at Walmart, so you can boost nitric oxide, support blood pressure, and improve heart health. Rush to Walmart and find Total Beets.
little hole in the
There's
bottom.
never been a better time to join AARP. This special offer gives you exclusive access to hundreds of AARP discounts, programs, and services that will add real value to your life. As a member, you can get discounts on glasses and eye save on prescription drugs not covered by Medicare. But you can also save on travel, hotels, restaurants, concert tickets, and so
This
much
one
more.
is C.
I didn't know that. AARP
67.
helps members access exclusive benefits like Medicare supplement insurance, even auto insurance.
You can use that.
That's the
AARP offers financial tips, career resources, and tools that may help you avoid identity theft and scammers.
That's good to know.
Pick up the phone now to join AARP. 1 year for just $12. That's 25% off the regular membership price. You'll even get a second membership included free. And you'll receive AARP the magazine filled with information and articles important to you. Plus, you'll get hundreds of benefits and an additional free gift if you call now.
And you don't have to be retired to join AARP. You can join at 50 for instant
some kind of
access to
controller
many
for it,
benefits. For 60 years, AARP has
Or a
worked to
bus
protect
or something.
your Social Security, Medicare, and more.
That sounds good to me.
Now you know how AARP
that one
helps
just has,
people like
a
us take
9.
on today. So don't miss your chance to join now.
Call or go online now to take advantage of this special offer. 1 year for just $12. That's a savings of 25% off the regular membership price. And you'll get a second AARP membership for anyone in your home free. And get a full year subscription to AARP the magazine filled with information and articles
I
important
gotta
to
open
you.
up all the other ones
Plus,
first.
you get the AARP mobile app that connects you to local events and activities near you. And as a free gift, we'll include this insulated trunk organizer. So don't miss this chance to save 25% and get 1 year for just $12.
Call 800-625-6676.
Oh, hey.
A luxury resale marketplace, curated with an eye for detail, where every piece is carefully vetted by our expertly trained team. Rebag. Get 10% off your first purchase with Rebag TV.
Ahead on morning, President Biden unveils his new restrictions for migrants on the southern border.
I got the red one and the orange one. Right?
A lot of bad people in this country because of their religious beliefs.
Red and the orange.
But the measure is already being met with a legal challenge. Why Biden is being compared to Trump.
Record-setting heat building across the Southwest as a springtime heat wave sends temperatures into the triple digits for the rest of the week.
Hunter Biden back in court this morning. His ex-wife expected to be called to the stand today as the prosecution zeroes in on his personal life. And tomorrow marks 80 years since Allied forces stormed the beaches of German-occupied France in what's remembered as one of the deadliest days of World War II. Today, American veterans traveled to Normandy to pay homage to those who fought and those we lost on D-Day.
Two parts. Cable.
Welcome to Morning Rush. I'm Chris Wynn in for Carolyn Bruck alongside meteorologist Scott Withers. And Scott, the big story today is some of that scorching weather across parts of the United States. Just sweltering. It does not feel like this. Tens of millions of Americans out there, 6 states across the Southwest are dealing with this and preparing for record-setting heat today, Chris. We're already talking triple digits again. It's only June 5th.
We saw temperatures reach 106 in Arizona, 103 in Las Vegas, 104 in Palm Springs, California yesterday, and that might seem cool compared to the high temperatures that we are going to see today and tomorrow. 32 million Americans under heat warnings and advisories. That stretches, like I said, from Texas, Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, California. In central Texas, it hit 101 in San Angelo. In Phoenix, it got to 104 on Tuesday. They've already closed some of their popular hiking trails that go out through the desert because both cities expected to get even worse and break some records this week. This is why it's happening right here. We got this high pressure zone right here swirling around, full of a whole bunch of hot air up from Mexico. This is the central core of California here, from the desert all the way up and then coming back around down into Las Vegas. That's the area we're going to see those temperatures 15 to 20 degrees above normal starting today. But Phoenix, you're in it as well, even though you're outside of this. And this thing is on the move, and that's why it's going to be so problematic. Look, that's still in it tomorrow, but the high pressure zone has moved all the way over here to the Texas-New Mexico border. Still pulling all that heat up from Mexico. That's why it's going to be hot again there tomorrow. But Phoenix, you're really in it tomorrow. And then watch the migration here. That's where we're at today. Moves out here, Texas, New Mexico. By Friday, it's over here over Dallas. Everything under the jet stream here is going to get in that hot triple-digit temperatures. You need to be careful. This is going to be above average, and it could be dangerous. All right, what's it look like throughout the day? What are our real temperatures today? 108 San Antonio, 106 in Vegas and Phoenix, and then overnight, it doesn't really cool down that much. It stays in the 80s overnight. That's not going to help at all. 112 in Phoenix tomorrow, 110 in Las Vegas tomorrow, 104 in Texas, and then by Friday, well, still was hot, 111, 110. This is dangerous across the entire southern tier of the U.S. If you're outside, especially over in the east, you're going to have humidity on top of that. You need to be hydrated, stay in air conditioning, bring in the pets, and check on your senior citizens, because this is going to be dangerous across the country. So you just need to be prepared for that. We do have some storms here in southern Illinois. That's going to spread across the Ohio, Mississippi River. Really spotty rain across the east. Strong storms down in the southern tier of the country later tonight into tomorrow. The rest of the country looks good for storms. Pacific Northwest, time to get up and get moving. You've got a nice day set in Medford. That's where the heat shows up. Fresno, Bakersfield, 104 today. You need to be careful up there as well. Conditions-wise, across the Ohio, Mississippi River Valley, that's where we're going to see the storms. The coast look fine. There's some storms across Florida. We always do in the summer. Sunny out west. Seattle finally drying out after a couple of days of atmospheric rivers. We don't have a lot of severe weather, just some green thunderstorms scattered across the country, but these are the excessive heat warnings. Really concerned about those. And Chris, those heat warnings across there are going to stretch across the south. Now, all the way through Friday. May was the hottest May in recorded history. Wow. That was the 12th month in a row that has happened. This all started in June. And unfortunately, for June, we are already above last year's June numbers. It's going to be a hot month, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on it for us. And I know those cooling centers and shopping malls will be very busy throughout the next few days. Very important. Get to those if you don't have any place to go. All right, Scotty, thank you.
Well, after years of delays, Boeing has finally succeeded in launching its Starliner spacecraft. Moments ago, the rocket with 2 astronauts on board lifted off from Cape Canaveral in Florida a short time ago. The crew is scheduled to spend 1 day in orbit before docking with the International Space Station. Starliner's previous launch attempt 4 days ago was scrubbed with less than 4 minutes left in the countdown when a ground computer triggered an automatic hold. Another attempt was called off in May over an issue with a valve in the spacecraft's Atlas V rocket engine. President Biden landed in France earlier this morning ahead of tomorrow's 80th D-Day anniversary. He was greeted by a French honor guard as Air Force One landed in Paris. Biden will mark the anniversary tomorrow with a visit to the beaches of Normandy, where U.S. forces landed on June 6, 1944, to begin the liberation of France and the rest of Europe from Nazi occupation. The White House says Biden will also meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky while in Normandy to discuss ongoing U.S. support for Ukraine in its war with Russia. Also on his schedule, President Biden will be joined by a special group of veterans, men who actually took part in the D-Day landings 8 decades ago. National correspondent Dan Grossman spoke to some of those veterans. Joins us now with more on their journey. Dan, good morning to you.
Hey Chris, good morning. You know, when you think about D-Day, it was such a significant event in overthrowing the Nazi occupation in Germany. More than 150,000 Allied forces stormed the beach. There were more than 4,000 deaths, and the governments at those times were willing to approve those numbers if it meant taking this stronghold. Some of these veterans took off from DFW Airport late last week. They landed in France on Saturday. Some of them, it will be the first time there. For others, as you mentioned, it will be a time when they revisit when they visited those beaches more than 80 years ago.
98.
Our lives are made up of milestones, chapters written at the ripe age of 99. Third-class petty officer Clarence Holland is about to start a new one that, in many ways, will be a postscript to one that was already written 80 years ago.
This machine deserved to be dismantled. Let's get to it.
There is the beaches of Normandy, France, where Holland and more than 60 other World War II veterans will visit the historic site by way of a group gathered by American Airlines and others to honor our nation's heroes.
So that's George King's side.
Ship is separate pieces. They do everything they can to make my life more miserable.
Is the send-off from Dallas Fort Worth. These veterans will be accompanied by 230 cadets, medics, and relatives on the 80th anniversary of the battle. It cost 2,500 American lives to turn the tide against the Nazis in what became known as the largest amphibious invasion in the history of war.
In history of the world.
It's like a red letter in my life.
At 96, Stephen First Class Willie Clements will be the youngest to embark on this new
This is a
chapter.
very small Wi-Fi antenna or something
But
can
as
be
with so many
hanged
here,
on.
feels a ton
Yeah, I know
of
what
this
can be hanged
historic
on
place.
that. What was the first piece that took up? It's this
Like Clements, this trip will be the first time many of these men and women will see it. The sands that hosted one of the bloodiest battles of the war. For others, it will not. The expectation brings with it an emotion we've all felt, but not with the depth reserved for those who have served.
Got back home. God didn't scratch.
This was it right here. Alright.
Yeah, I didn't see the bed anymore. The Williams the river defenders
Until that moment comes, return farewells will be exchanged. And when they return, many of our nation's heroes will be forever changed, having closed the chapter for good.
Like this dog was like,
And you bring good to it in return, sir.
So the average age of those veterans who are going to be visiting France is greater than 100, the oldest 107. He was speaking there at the send-off, talking about how still all of these decades later, memories from serving that beach in France still can haunt him and wake him up. This day, a lot of expressions are going to be there in France this week. Chris.
Powerful story. National correspondent Dan Grossman. Dan, thank you. Now to another one of our top stories this morning, President Biden's new stance on border policy. Biden says he was forced to take executive action yesterday to limit the number of asylum seekers and had time to seal the border altogether. He says congressional Republicans had obstructed attempts to address the nation's immigration crisis.
They know the border is not a political issue to be weaponized. Responsibility we have to share to do something about it. They don't have time for the games played in Washington.
We don't have time for your stupid games.
GOP lawmakers dismissed Biden's plan as a political stunt, but several mayors of southern border towns attended the president's announcement on Tuesday and say otherwise. That includes Ramiro Garza Jr., the mayor, and the
So we applaud him for taking action today, because that's what we do as mayors of communities.
There you go.
We don't have the luxury to wait to do that. We have to take action.
I was supposed to close it again.
Mayor Garza joins us now to talk more about this policy announcement. Mayor, how did the meeting go with President Biden? And do you think he's doing enough with this executive action?
He's going there.
Good morning, thank you for having me. I think the meeting went well. We appreciate the opportunity for myself and other mayors from South Texas to join the president and the administration. Obviously, what he's doing is not going to solve our entire immigration system, but it's a step in the right direction. Something has to be done,
the bipartisan bill that was trying to make its way through Congress did not pass. We were supporting that and encouraged that to be passed, but that didn't pass, and the president's doing what he can to address the issues at the border.
Okay, look up the cable in there.
Mayor, the latest U.S. data shows that in April 2024, there were about 180,000 encounters with migrants along the southwest border. How has the influx of migrants impacted your community?
Well, let me just say that our Border Patrol CBP have been doing an exceptional job managing all the migrants that are coming through here. As a result, when you include our law enforcement, our community does not feel the effects directly because everybody's doing their role. Only people not doing the role is Congress. There has to be a way to address sometimes the issues that we have on the border. And I think this executive order, which is why I support it, addresses some of the challenges that we have. The border is still going to be open. This is just going to provide an orderly way for migrants to use the CBP border app or to seek asylum at the ports of entry versus going to the dangerous desert and areas and going through human smugglers in a dangerous pathway to cross the river. This is a better way for them to do so. It does restrict it because we want to have some order, but at the same time, it provides an orderly pathway for them.
Mayor, have you noticed a strain on city services or resources that are typically provided by nonprofit organizations in your area?
We have not directly. I know our neighboring cities, McAllen and Brownsville, have been dealing directly with migrants. They actually are involved with the processing of them, and they've done a phenomenal job doing that. So we have not seen any major issues at this point. One thing that's not talked about is our area. We hear a lot about this immigration issue, but we're thriving. We're one of the fastest growing areas in the whole country, and we have some of the same challenges as other parts of the country. However, this is an issue with our immigration system, okay? But it does not mean that we're not safe. This is a safe area. We should need Congress to do what they can to provide the funding and support some of these steps we're taking this executive action.
We understand that some Republican lawmakers, as well as immigration law experts, view this announcement as purely political. What's your reaction to those critics?
Well, it's a similar reaction that I shared yesterday at the White House. As mayors, we do not have the luxury of doing standoffs. We have to take action. So that's why I was very much in support of being there at the White House with the president, because
are not made of the same metal as the
area in Brownsville in February. And we talked about the bipartisan legislation that was making its way to Congress, and he committed to us that there was going to be action whether that bipartisan bill passed or not. So he's taking action, and not everybody's going to be happy about that. Because obviously it doesn't fix our entire system. So I respectfully disagree with folks that say this is political and this is not enough. My response is action that is being taken similar to what we will see to address the neighborhood.
There will always be critics on both sides. Mayor Ramiro Garza Jr. of Edinburgh, Texas. Mayor, thank you so much for your time and insight today. We appreciate the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The opening statement of the way jurors are not just being witnesses in Hunter Biden's federal gun law. And take the stand
there also. Not this way, to there, to that. Then goes around at the top. Here is that.
Security. This one, so you can call in a top. Well, look, I want to talk to you about is the one on your door. This is a lot for your life insurance. It guarantees that unless you're insured, your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. Many policies you see do not have one. But you can get a lifetime rate lock for as long as you're better. Call that number now. This plan was designed with a rate lock for people on fixed income who want life insurance that gets their budget and simple yet. Just started $9.95 a month. Less than 35 cents a day. Now, your rate will be locked in for life. It will never increase. Guaranteed. This is lifelong coverage that can never be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Guaranteed. Your acceptance is guaranteed. So no health questions. You cannot be turned down because of your health. Call for your information kit and read about this right now for yourself. You'll also get a free beneficiary plan. Over free, no obligation. Open this up. All for information and decide. You got the 30-day 100% money back guarantee.
See that one there.
Call this number now.
Call now and you'll also get this free beneficiary plan. Use this valuable guide to record important information and it's yours free just for calling. So don't wait. Call 1-800-440-9900 for your free information. That's 1-800-440-9900. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-440-9900. That's 1-800-440-9900. So call now.
13 million Americans were affected by identity theft in 2022. Just credit card. Today's identity thieves can open loans, register home sites. They find your name, your social security number, name a driver's license that was used for criminal activity. Your information is exposed to online shopping, even corporate data breaches. No longer there's a new victim of identity theft every 30 seconds. Only LifeLock alerts you to a widest volume of threats all in one place.
Right-click, that's not me, and LifeLock took it from there.
If you become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix the issue. All LifeLock members are backed by the LifeLock $1 million protection package, including reimbursement for stolen funds.
I will be a bypass tracker.
It won't take just minutes. Call now or go online and use promo code GET25 to save 25% on your first year and all down.
Welcome back to the Morning Rush. Some other headlines we're following for you. A gunman wearing clothes with the words Islamic State and ISIS opened fire on the U.S. Embassy outside Beirut this morning before he was shot and captured by Lebanese soldiers. The embassy said the security guard was also injured in the attack. Authorities identified the wounded gunman only as a Syrian national, and soldiers are searching for other possible attackers. The embassy moved from central Beirut to the suburbs after a suicide bombing in 1983 killed 63 other people, including embassy staff, CIA officers, and U.S. soldiers. The House of Representatives sending a message that lawmakers stand behind Israel's right to defend itself. On Tuesday, a bill was voted in both sanctions by the International Criminal Court. The move comes after the ICC announced that it's seeking an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, something both Democrats and Republicans have criticized. The Biden administration doesn't support the effort to sanction the court, which means most likely Democrats will follow suit and not support it when it hits the Senate floor, so it's unlikely to pass. A dire forecast this morning from the U.S. Weather Agency, which says global temperatures are likely to rise beyond the target of 1.5 degrees Celsius. That's the landmark Paris Climate Accord set for 2028. That level of global warming could melt ice sheets, causing catastrophic rise in sea levels, and could destroy tropical coral reefs. The forecast comes as the European Union's climate agency reported that last month was the hottest May on record, that's the 12th consecutive month of record high temperatures. Here this morning, an article in the Wall Street Journal is raising new concerns about President Biden's age and what the newspaper describes as his diminishing faculties. The journal's 3,000-word story is headlined, "Behind Closed Doors, Biden shows signs of slipping," and reports that the president's acuity comes and goes, cites meetings with congressional leaders in which he mumbled, repeatedly referred to notes, and closed his eyes for long periods. The White House is firing back, saying the journal is repeating Republicans' false talking points. As many of you know, Biden's the oldest president in U.S. history and turns 82 shortly after this year's election. Former President Trump, the presumptive Republican nominee, turns 78 later this month. And the journal says that, like Biden, Trump has also shown signs of cognitive decline. Political contributor Steve Schmidt has thoughts about this new article, and he is not holding back, slamming the reporting as dishonest and reckless, and saying the right of the editors responsible should be embarrassed. Tune in tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern when Steve joins the race to dive even deeper into what this means for President Biden and the Wall Street Journal. Happening today, the Senate will vote on a bill aimed at protecting access to contraception. What they're trying to accomplish, despite the efforts that will likely fail. Stay close. You're watching Morning Rush.
Steve Schmidt's Good Morning looks to help all Americans orient themselves to the currents that are shaping our daily lives as well as our nation's future. So subscribe to The Morning Steve Schmidt wherever you listen to your podcasts or on YouTube and
Stacy.
We love being outside, but the sun makes our deck and patio too hot.
Okay, 224.
Thanks to our new Sun Center retractable line, we can select full sun for infinite shade in just 60 seconds.
It's 20 degrees cooler under the sun center, and we get instant protection from harmful UV rays and sun glare.
For pricing starting at less than $1,000, transform your outdoor living space into a shaded retreat your family will love. When you call, we'll rush you a special $200 discount certificate with your free all-in idea kit. You get your Sun Center for as little as $799. But this is a limited time offer.
For over 20 years, Sun Center has been the best-selling retractable line in America.
Call now for this free all-in idea kit, packed with great awning solutions that will let you enjoy your tent or patio much more often. Plus, get this $200 discount certificate that will bring you your Sun Center for as little as $799. But this is a limited time offer. Call now.
Upgrade your bachelor to a 10-year limited warranty.
More than 1 million families in America own and love their Sun Center. Now you too can discover why life is better under a sunset. It's like putting an expansion on your home. And talk about options. Choose motorized or manual. And for just a little extra, add LED lighting for evening enjoyment.
There are so many incredible styles to choose from in our free awning idea kit. Your custom-built awning without the custom-built price.
Call now to get the whole Sun Center story. You get this free awning idea kit plus a $200 discount certificate. And there's no obligation. With Sun Center, you'll create the ultimate outdoor living space, perfect for entertaining friends. Call now for your free awning idea kit with local dealer info and $200 discount certificate. Life is better under Sun Center. Everyone was safe.
I have over my 30 years seen many patients who have excessive sweating. It is very much a confidence killer. Excessive sweating is not something you have to worry about. I recommend Carpe for my patients.
The most effective antiperspirant I've ever used. I love it. I don't sweat.
Effective and affordable. It's a game changer.
Choose a solution that stops the odor and sweat while being gentle on skin. Get customized sweat care that works with limited time free shipping at my Carpe.
What
At the end of the day, you know the big stories. But what you want to know about the news is what happens next.
I'm Rosa Giorgio, live from our studio in Missoula, Montana, and this is America Tonight.
Spruce News takes you ahead of them.
We're reading between the lines there.
It's time to understand the news you see today.
What kind of outfit is it?
What's your response to it?
Read tonight with Marisa Giorgio. Tonight at 8/7 Central. Spruce News.
Hunter Biden's Donald Trump is now done testifying. She returned this morning and spent nearly 2 hours on the stand. Legal affairs correspondent Abbott Weber has been in the courtroom all week and has details on the Trump thus far.
Number 3 of the federal indictment against Hunter Biden. And on day number 2, prosecutors started with opening statements that they said Hunter Biden should be found guilty of all 3 counts because he knowingly bought that weapon in 2018 when he knew he was addicted to drugs. Of course, the defense attorneys counted on that, saying Hunter Biden he was addicted to drugs at that time. We also heard excerpts from Hunter Biden's memoir where he detailed his struggles with addiction. At one point, the report heard that his superpower was being able to find drugs in any house in the United States. There were times where it appeared that family members became emotional. The first lady was inside the building, put her arm around Abbott. Ashley Biden. This is the younger sister of Hunter Biden. And there were also times where it appeared as if his wife, Melissa Cohen Biden, shook her head at things that she disagreed with. What can we expect for today? Prosecutors will call additional witnesses. In this case, they have not indicated that they plan to call, including people who were formerly romantically involved with Hunter Biden, including his ex-wife of about 20 years. And the prosecutors' hope is that these women will be able to corroborate the timeline of this drug use and when he bought this weapon. Of course, Christine will be inside and continue to update you as we get details. Have the next Express News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Right.
Still ahead on Morning Rush, FDA advisors voted against using a psychedelic drug to treat post-traumatic stress disorder. They don't have the final say. They tell you who does. Vice President Biden faced major criticism over the border policy, even from his own party. We'll break down what both sides are saying. And a reminder, you can find our stories and much more online. Check us out at scriptsteve.com or on your social media feed. We're back after this break.
Gotta make more of it.
At Consumers Lately, we pride ourselves in getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers. What the heck with us? But don't worry, we've got a lot more of the maximum for us. Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's a perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we covered that. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. The state-of-the-art cameras you want with the space-age metal housing, we got it. If you have a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles for a whole break the bank, we got that too. Even a flip phones like the average one. There's someone that doesn't need all that mumbo jumbo and just wants something simple. And even watches.
We do.
Even what device you choose, you only have to know that if your data needs change,
No problem.
with a Smart Plus feature, you don't have to sweat it. Let's say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. Then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty, so you only pay for what you actually need.
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet?
Alright.
These phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Well, our award-winning customer service helped me switch over. Or I'd like $15 to make my own family plan.
Of course they will.
Is it easy?
That's right.
Easy.
Right.
See that tower right there? It's a beauty. And there are thousands more like it, working hard for me and you,
This one.
supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We have important coverages. That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation, you can pay nothing. Oh, look.
We have got Joint Variety following a 2 months of service free when they find out by July 31st. Call 1-800-485-8390 or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about.
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do.
Alright.
Our firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, thousands with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them against those responsible. We have local offices throughout the U.S. Mesothelioma really is all we do, and there is no risk needed. Let us put a plan in place for you and your family. Call now.
Call us at 800-642-9300 or go to pistolbook.com.
Today I'm announcing actions to bar migrants who cross our southern border unlawfully. from receiving asylum. Migrants will be restricted from receiving asylum at our southern border unless they seek it after entering through an established lawful process.
The president said he'd rather have passed bipartisan legislation, but grew tired of Republicans, quote, playing games and taking political orders from Donald Trump to avoid fixing the issue. This action is one of the most aggressive border policies issued by a Democratic president. The American Civil Liberties Union says it will sue the White House over the new border policy, which it says bears a strong resemblance to an earlier asylum ban that courts rejected during the Trump administration. ACLU lawyers say Biden's plan breaks long-standing promises that anyone who enters the U.S. legally or illegally has the right to seek refuge. As the president announced new border restrictions, Arizona lawmakers approved a ballot measure that could authorize local police to arrest people suspected of crossing the border illegally. The measure, which passed yesterday along party lines, is similar to a Texas law that challenges the federal government's exclusive authority over immigration. That law is on hold while a federal appeals court considers a challenge by the Biden administration. Let's bring in our Scripps News reporters who have been covering the story from various angles this week. Political director Andrew Rafferty and national correspondents Jamal Andrus and John Moon, both joining us from Texas. Andrew, President Biden is even garnering criticism from his own party with this action. What are both parties saying today?
Legal phrase, I think a lot of the reaction that we've seen is probably what the White House and Biden's team expected ahead of the announcement. Immigration at the border is always been a trickier policy area for Democrats because there's more diversity of opinion generally when it comes to what it means to secure the border, to fix the immigration system. And so you've seen members of the more progressive wing of the Democratic Party coming out and saying this was a mistake, this potentially could compromise legitimate amnesty claims being made from people who really need them because they're to sort of restrict who is and isn't allowed to cross the border at certain times. And Republicans, meanwhile, who was sort of noting earlier this year, called on the president to take executive action, now saying this is essentially too little too late. And so it was a bit of a no-win for those two groups from Joe Biden, but I think Democrats as a whole knew that something had to be done. If you look at the polling, there was one from AP that showed about 68% of the country disapproves how Joe Biden has been handling the border. We've seen those numbers surge over his time in office for various reasons. So whether it's Joe Biden looking at his own re-election or Democrats as a whole thinking about November, there was large-scale thought among even the more moderate folks who are in tough races from the wall that something had to be done, and we were starting to see that with that announcement yesterday.
Yeah, and what this moves the needle in terms of public opinion is really to anyone's guess at this point. John, you're in Houston and you reported from the border for us for months. What are you hearing on the ground this week about this chicken policy?
A chicken policy?
The president had a coalition of people from border states and mayors on the border behind him as he made his announcement. I think mainly mayors on the border, whether they're Democrat or Republican, want to be heard. And the framing of this is really important to focus on. Democrats in the White House have typically responded to Republican framing on this issue. Nothing against the Republican base is riled up as the issue of immigration and has been the state way for 15, 20 years, especially in Texas. So if you look at how the Obama White House is reacting and now how the Biden White House is reacting, the activist base of the Democratic Party is upset because they feel like the president has not advanced a policy and thinking of his own to bear on this issue, but rather the avoidance of it and accept framing from conservative viewpoints on this. So that's what's at play here. But when you go back to the border, they just want something done. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They don't want somebody just flying in from Washington, whether it's the president or even a politician who represents the state of Texas, to come in and catalog a problem. They want real solutions, and they want to see what is being done, so they feel less anxious.
Yeah, and John, we know that the issue now is expanding beyond these border communities into so-called blue cities across the country. Some of the major metro areas are now dealing with this. Jamal, we're bringing to the conversation the bill in Arizona gives authorities to local police to arrest migrants they suspect crossing the border illegally. A lot of folks are concerned about some of the dangers that come out of it.
When you talk about those concerns, a couple of big ones are money and expertise. Immigration law.
We're going to get them all down or what?
Right. It's not something you can necessarily just saddle.
Put them all down, put them all up.
Consider all the responsibilities that local police have already. It's one of the few things that both sides agreed on coming out of all those protests in 2020 and 2021 was this idea that we need to take responsibilities away from police officers rather than give them more to do. And so when you look at something like this, you have to consider you have a police department like Phoenix, which is under investigation by the Department of Justice already and is at risk of a potential consent decree that is getting an entirely new mission that they have to carry out. Look at somewhere like Arizona, there's somewhere around 370 miles of border that these local departments would have to deal with. Not only that, we're talking about several different departments, county sheriffs, all with different expertise, with different capacities to carry out enforcement. And then you look at the money. Obviously there's been a lot of talk about how much money police departments already have, and then you add a mandate like this, and you ultimately are talking about millions of dollars across the department. And lastly, opponents will also point to racial profiling. What exactly does a migrant look like across the state of Arizona? We talk about what investigation practices will go into making these arrests. And it starts to look like you may need a whole other department or organization to handle this, which opponents would argue you already had. And so there's a lot of people on the other side of this issue that say this could be a problem if it ultimately makes its way through in Arizona and in Texas. Iowa, by the way, already passed similar legislation that's going to affect on July 1st.
A lot of folks, who are against this, really would rather have their dollars, their taxpayer dollars, be spent on initiatives that directly impact their communities in terms of, law enforcement, etc. Andrew, should know right now, immigration, top concern brewers, we know that heading into November's election. How is this policy change expected to impact the president's base?
Well, this goes to kind of what John was making. He and I both spent time out on campaign during various months this year. It's not just border states that you hear voters talking about immigration as one of their top concerns. It's really widespread, and it is a hugely motivating factor, specifically for Republican voters. Democrats, Joe Biden, to his base, he's
driving nuts on the sign and
traditional base of the Democratic Party. We talked about how progressives don't exactly love what happened by Joe Biden's announcement yesterday, but this is really for the types of voters who are maybe a little bit disillusioned with the last 3.5 years of Joe Biden's presidency. You can see right there, immigration. This is from Gallup. And you can look at a number of polls. It's either immigration or kind of some form of the economy and inflation are really what is going to be driving voters this fall. But in terms of the political calculus of how things change from what took place yesterday, it really is sort of a way for Joe Biden to say, this is what I'm doing, whereas the other guy, Donald Trump, is actively called to torpedo bipartisan efforts in Congress to deal with the border and immigration.
Andrew, to your point, we know this is right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and Andrew's right. For a Democrat in the White House, it's a damned if you do and damned if you don't situation. His base on the Democratic side isn't going to like this. I think no matter what he does, even if he went completely like Trumpist on immigration, they would still find a reason to say that this isn't good enough or this isn't nearly hard enough on the Republican base side. Again, a lot of this, when we're talking about people in cities in the interior of the United States, the way they're reacting, we have to remember that the governor in our state, Texas, has exported a lot of this and spent state funds to send migrants and drop them off with little to no notice in cities like Denver, Los Angeles, Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York, and Philadelphia, all viewed as state Democratic voting areas to make a point, at least as he sees it. But, the thing about all of the migrants crossing into Texas, they're not staying in cities like Eagle Pass or El Paso or Del Rio or McAllen for the most part. They're going to other cities. They're going to a lot of cities in Texas, like Houston and San Antonio and Dallas. And they're also going across the country, and a lot of them will get aid from family members or sponsors to travel through the United States. So a lot of this again is all about framing, and if you consume your information as well as where you get your news and a closed feedback loop, a lot of it has to do with that as well.
And to your point, voter enthusiasm, that's going to be key, especially in these swing states as we head into November. Political Director Andrew Rafferty, National Correspondents Jamal Andrews and John Moan, thank you all for the conversation and for making time today. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
An FDA panel voted against using MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy, to treat post-traumatic stress disorder. Experts say the available evidence doesn't show the drug is effective or that its benefits outweigh the risks. This is the first time the FDA has considered a psychedelic drug for medical use. While this is a major setback for the drug, it can still be approved. The FDA puts stock in the panel's advice, but it doesn't have to follow their recommendations. A Food and Drug Advisory Committee is meeting today to formulate its recommendation for the next COVID-19 vaccine. The panel evaluates which strains of the virus pose the biggest threat and then proposes a vaccine it thinks will provide the best level of protection. The vaccine will be released later this year. The panel's recommendations are not binding for the FDA, but the agency usually follows. Today, the Senate is expected to test vote on a bill that would guarantee women's access to contraception. The bill isn't likely to pass the Senate. Democrats do need 60 votes, but as the election inches closer, reproductive rights remains a top campaign issue, and Democrats want to put Republicans on
reproductive rights.
Sydney Lieberman has more.
I demand my reproductive rights.
As we know today, dates back to Supreme Court decisions in the 1960s and 70s that landmark cases affirmed Americans' right to privacy, including the right to access contraception. And in the Dobbs decision 2 years ago, Justice Clarence Thomas suggested overturning those precedents. The Democrats in Congress are trying to proactively protect birth control access.
People have become more aware. There are 14 states that ban abortion, and other states that have very early gestational limits. And so people are aware that their options would be limited if their contraception failed or they didn't have access to their contraception.
The latest data from the CDC shows 65% of women between ages 15 and 49 use some kind of contraception. But Republicans have pushed back, arguing the Right to Contraception Act doesn't protect doctors' religious freedom and will allow access to abortion drugs. Doctors say there is a clear line between what qualifies as contraception and what is an abortion.
There's sort of very deliberate sources of misinformation that tell people that
I don't accept these, though. I don't understand these.
But it's not. From a medical standpoint, it's not at all.
And even emergency contraception aimed at stopping a pregnancy before it starts. But the lack of clarity among lawmakers about what is contraception and what is abortion has led to confusing language in laws about reproductive rights.
It's hard to interpret certain terms that are in the law because they don't have any medical meaning. Things like personhood obviously is a really important concept, but that's not a clinical meaning to us at all.
Democrats are trying to move multiple reproductive health care bills through Congress, which will likely keep the issue top of mind through Election Day.
He lost his job, his first boyfriend, lost his own life. Just to have one man shares his experience and the struggles he's overcome to live his most authentic life.
Attention everyone, both Medicare and Medicaid. Did you know you could be adding money back to your Social Security check every month? Certain beneficiaries qualify for specific benefits based on income verification. Create Medicare benefits for you and see if you qualify. Just call 800-601-7955 now. This program helps lower Medicare costs by including medical and co-insurance. This is a state-based program. If you're not sure if you qualify, you can call the number on your screen and speak to a licensed insurance agent. Just call 800-601-7955 now. You could be adding money back to your Social Security check every month if you qualify. Certain beneficiaries qualify for specific benefits based on income
it's set. For some reason. Oh, okay.
Did you know you could be getting money back to your Social Security check every month?
Okay, so this one's set.
Specific benefits based on income verification. Get a free Medicare benefits review and see if you qualify. Just call 800-601-7955 now. This program helps lower Medicare costs like premiums, deductibles, and co-insurance. Call the number in your screen and speak to a licensed insurance agent. Just call 800-601-7955 now. You can get money back to your Social Security check every month if you qualify. Some beneficiaries qualify for specific benefits based on income verification. Call to check your eligibility. The call and benefits review are free with no obligation to enroll. Just call 800-601-7955 now. That's 800-601-7955. It was only 23 hours first diagnosed with melanoma skin cancer. 4 years later, I found 20 bone surgery. I had just a bit of pain and scars were going to be part of my life. When I was diagnosed with 2 basal cells on my face, I became determined to find an alternative to surgery.
If you, like millions of others, are affected by skin cancer,
that's how that
surgery isn't the only option. There's no choice. Gentle Cure.
It's seen that before.
Gentle Cure uses low-energy X-rays to kill skin cancer cells with a 99% cure rate. Plus, there's no cutting, no surgical scarring, and no downtime.
I'm so glad I did it. It was successful in every way.
To learn more,
There you go.
or go to gentlecure.com.
That's how that goes. So this one, it's the bear. One beer.
Celebrating identity and highlighting stories of Mark Pettit joined us on the show earlier this morning. And his memoir, Anchor Boy, he talks about becoming a young TV newscaster as a closeted gay man during the height of the HIV/AIDS epidemic. And it details how he lost his job after being outed in the early 90s. He remembers the challenges that came with being a young gay man at the time, and how he's using it all to help his community today.
It was the night Rock Hudson died in October of 1985. In the book, I write about how I covered it on air that morning. And that night I was in a sports bar.
All right, got you now.
And they were
I got you.
We can now confirm that Hudson died of this mysterious.
All right, let's do this one then.
The bar went quiet. And then the anchor talked a bit more. He said, just to confirm, Rock Hudson dead of AIDS, and the bar erupted into applause. People were cheering that Rock Hudson was dead of AIDS. And then I am 22 years old, anchoring the news, and I thought, if they need Rock Hudson, they're never going to like me. And I thought, we're sort of going back in time.
I was going to ask you. You lived through some of the worst times in this country for the LGBT community. There are, do you think that we are starting to see some of that hatred, ignorance, reemerge?
Yes, with the Pope using the F word. Men speak 6 languages fluently, and I Googled it. That F word is slurred in each of those languages. Harrison Butler calling Pride Month a month of degenerates. That's the wrong way to go. But I want to just say something about, I'm getting messages from mothers all across the country. You can buy signed copies at anchorboy.com, and it's allowing me to communicate with the people who buy my book. And mothers are saying, I'm buying this book for my child. A lady in Austin, Texas said, my son is 18, he's going to college. He wants to be a writer like you, but he's really struggling. Can you give him words of encouragement? So what I'm trying to be is a role model that I did not have at that time.
She may be just 16 years old, but Lily Johannes is already making a mark. The teenage soccer sensation scored her first goal just 10 minutes into her debut for the U.S. women's national team on Tuesday, helping the team secure a 3-0 win over South Korea. She called it a dream come true after the match. The goal makes her the 3rd youngest player to score for the U.S. women's team. Johannes was born in Virginia, but in 2017, her family moved to the Netherlands, where she plays for a Dutch team. And with that walk-off home run in extra innings, the Oklahoma Sooners softball team
step closer to an unprecedented fourth consecutive Women's College World Series championship title, something never before done in the league. The Florida Gators beat Oklahoma the day before, which caused the if-necessary game yesterday, and you saw Oklahoma senior Jada Coleman end the semifinal series there 6-5. The powerhouse Sooners team now face a tough #1 ranked Texas team in a best-of-3 series for the title. Game 1 is tonight. You can hear our Scripps News. We're back after this break.
All right.
Leading off our doubleheader, on the hallowed grounds of Wrigley Field. Here, the Chicago Red Sox take the pitch in AFC. This is a Providence Park where the Portland Thorns take on North Carolina Courage. The coverage begins Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. On Ireland.
Which factor Total Beats is the #1 beats brand in America. That's why friends and family recommend Total Beats. Now you can find Total Beats blood pressure tubes at Walmart, so you can boost nitric oxide, support blood pressure, and improve heart rate. Rush to Walmart and find Total Beats.
If you're living with diabetes, I'll tell you the same thing I tell my patients. Getting on Dexcom G7 is one of the easiest ways to take better control of your diabetes and help protect yourself from the long-term health problems it can cause. This small wearable replaces finger sticks, lowers A1C, and it's covered by Medicare.
Not managing
I don't get this.
really affects your health. But if
But I will eventually.
you get, the more complications you're going to see.
I knew I didn't know my diabetes anymore because it was causing my eyesight to go. And my kidneys, I started having issues.
Before the Dexcom G7, doctor's appointments were not something I looked forward to. It was a lot of turmoil.
For my patients, getting on Dexcom G7 is the biggest eye-opener they've ever had.
When I got Dexcom G7, I couldn't believe how easy it was. This small wearable sends my glucose numbers right to my phone or my receiver. With just a glance, I can see if I'm going high, low, or steady. So I can quickly get my glucose under control and better protect myself from complications. My A1C is down 5.8.
Call now to get started on Dexcom G7, the most recommended CGM brand. Dexcom G7 has changed my life.
All right.
Now I'm a superstar.
Know how it goes?
A1C is 5.7.
My A1C has never been lower. It's all the way down to 7. I go swimming, I ride the exercise bike, and I play my grandkids. I barely have my life back.
My wife used to worry about me having diabetes before my Dexcom G7.
Diabetes.
Now, she doesn't worry as much because she knows.
It gives me a lot of
It's the diabetes.
wanting to be around.
Dexcom G7 can improve your glucose control, which helps prevent long-term complications for a longer, healthier life. Call now to receive a free discussion guide for your next doctor visit. The Veterans Suite, with deliberate details and modern functionality.
Diabetes. That's not it.
Morning rush today, the early heat wave is spiking not only temperatures, but costs to cool your home. Plus, zero-down mortgage options are giving buyers an eerie reminder of 2008. And Top Chef Marcus Samuelson talks about the growing switch to plant-based diets. All that and much more on today's Rush Rewind.
Those people are at risk. They don't pay their bill. They can be shut off from power. Now, in practice, many utilities don't turn people off from summer just because of the concern about a family's potential health. Now, what you have to worry about is this. It's not just shut-off protections. It's that millions of local families don't have the resources to pay for cooling. Some of our programs provide air conditioning systems to families. They don't have money up and pay the bill, and they find the families reluctant to turn it on because they're worried about this bill. And it's not just low, it's also middle-income families. The cost of cooling is going up year after year.
That's
Now
Trump
the
done.
cooling season is bleeding into September.
I don't know how they think the sequel of the first movie is going to be any better.
It's going to hang around 45 all day long. Huh? Looks that way.
Just think this is a terrible idea. I mean, this is a feel-good thing because a lot of people are struggling to buy a home. So we'll say, hey, the way that you can buy a home is we'll give you a 97% first mortgage,
and then a 3% second mortgage. That's what this is, up to
Mine eyes
$15,000
have
on that second
read
mortgage.
the
So
verdict
you
of
have
the
zero down. You
convicted
don't put
Donald
any
Trump.
money down, and
He
you can buy the
has
house.
found,
The problem is,
he was
we saw
found to be
2008 is that
responsible
real
for
estate
fake
prices
business
are at an
reports.
all-time high. So if they go down, you have something called negative equity, right? You have more debt on the house.
For
than you
his
actually
defense,
have
he goes
the
and
value
rants
of the
about
home.
things
And
that
I've
don't
seen
make
this movie
sense.
before. I've seen it several times.
No
and
show.
it's very
Last
scary.
long.
So tell
Glory,
folks
glory, hallelujah.
that
Glory,
you
glory,
look to
hallelujah.
or that you
Glory,
think could
glory,
be real are
hallelujah.
actually pretty good
Social,
if you want to stay away from the meat.
Yeah, I mean,
I got 10 reactions on it.
you think about what is it you think about when you think about
He got 7 convicted
you can develop
villain
that with
memes.
vegetables just as well. So there's
Scam.
grilled peppers, or there's amazing sweet potato carrots.
Where's my boy at? What's his name?
And the glaze is really key. And
Yeah.
we have this
Brian
thing with
Samaru.
a little bit of
He hasn't said a word today.
Thanks so much for
The stock is doing good. He should have said something today.
Less than 3 minutes.
Hi,
45,
I'm Humana Dental.
You're up at that
Few days we're all watching our
26,
budgets, and making
45,
sure
49.
on what matters most. One thing that should really matter is dental insurance.
Well, I
Because
closed at
fact
45,
is,
49.
great oral health
Yes.
is critical to your overall health.
Up to
And your overall
45,
health matters
58.
most to us.
So it's up to 9
That's why
cents.
Humana Dental is committed to helping you keep your teeth and gums healthy.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to stay at
Call the number on your
45,
screen or visit us
50 minutes
online
all day
at
long.
humanadental.com for a free quote. We'll help you
Oh.
choose from a range of dental plans designed to fit your whole family's needs. And our plans are affordable, starting as low as $18 a month. That's only 60 cents a day. Plus, Humana Dental has plans with low deductibles. Just call the number on your screen or visit us online at humanadental.com for a free quote. We're here to help. You'll find getting dental insurance has never been easier. Easy to enroll, easy to understand, and easy to use. And that's a fact. You'll get savings on basic procedures, fillings, extractions, and more. You'll also get 100% coverage for in-network preventive care. Plus, Humana Dental offers savings on major procedures like root canals, crowns, and dentures. Do you have a dental condition? Don't worry. At Humana Dental, you won't be turned down for coverage. Need coverage soon? At Humana Dental, you can use your new benefits in as little as 5 days. And you can choose from over 100,000 dentists and specialists. Need a vision plan? Humana also offers plans as low as $12 a month, including coverage for exams, plus lenses and frames, or contacts. Questions? Call to talk to us today. We're here to help you. When it comes to getting fast, easy to use, affordable dental insurance, it pays to know the facts. Call now or go online for free information and a free quote. We'll get you covered. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Vehicle breakdowns are costly.
Sort of making some real weird noises.
If your check engine light comes on tomorrow, the repair could easily cost thousands.
Get the transmission.
But with Endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a costly repair again.
They covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
$1,400. Endurance paid it. Who's going to pay for your next car repair? You or Endurance?
Well, right now, we get $300 off any plan. Call them. Hey, we're joining us on the scene. I'm Chris Stewart for the next 3 hours. We'll take you everywhere you need to be around the world. Here's what we're following right now. We are on the scene in Wilmington, Delaware. Hunter Biden's federal gun trial is underway. His ex-wife is expected to take the stand. We're also on Capitol Hill. Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey, you see there, a Democrat, is talking about the Right to Contraception Act. The Senate is expected to hold an initial vote in the 3 o'clock hour today. We're also on the scene just outside Boston. Witness testimony continuing. And the Karen Reed murder.
Don't tell me I'm confused.
Murdering her boyfriend, who's a Boston police officer. She's pleaded not guilty. Let's go on to
Don't tell me because I'm just confused.
June 6th. 1944 was the start of the Allied Forces operation to begin the liberation of France and eventually the rest of Europe, ending the Nazi occupation. Earlier today, President Biden touched down in France ahead of tomorrow's ceremonies. He was greeted by a French honor guard as Air Force One landed in Paris. The president will mark the anniversary tomorrow with a visit to the beaches of Normandy. International correspondent Ross Cohen is in Paris
And none of these line up with them.
in preparation for tomorrow's anniversary. Ross, what can we expect?
Those two come close.
Well, Chris, you can see the stars and stripes behind me here on the Champs-Elysees in central Paris. This is where Joe Biden is at the moment, so day ahead of his expected arrival in northern France, 80 years on from D-Day, 1944, when some 156,000 service personnel from the Allied nations took part in those landings to take the beaches of northern France, of whom more than 70,000 were American service personnel, 2,500 of those American Armed Forces personnel losing their lives on D-Day, 1944. Now, on Thursday, Joe Biden will first be going to Colville-sur-Mer. This is an American war cemetery overlooking Omaha Beach, the largest of the 5 D-Day beaches and one of 2 which were taken by American forces alongside Utah Beach. At the cemetery, in which more than 9,000 American service personnel are buried, Joe Biden will be taking part in that ceremony alongside his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron. There'll be another day in northern France for the American president on Friday, where he will give a speech, according to the White House, that will be about democracy and freedom. And then on Saturday, June 8th, he will be there for a state visit being hosted by his French counterpart.
All right, Ross Cohen for us live in Paris. Ross, thank you. Let's go on the scene to the White House now. Today, we're following 2 election year efforts, one federal and one local, that addresses the crisis on the U.S.-Mexico border. President Biden says he was forced to take executive action that will limit the number of asylum seekers. He blames congressional Republicans of obstructing bipartisan efforts to gain control of the southern border. But GOP lawmakers dismissed the president's plan as political stunt. Meanwhile, on the scene in Arizona, the Republican-led state legislature put a measure on the November ballot. It could authorize local police officers to arrest people suspected of crossing its border with Mexico illegally. The measure is similar to a Texas law.
The only one that goes above is that one.
Exclusive authority over immigration. That law is on hold while a federal appeals court considers a challenge by the Biden administration. White House correspondent Serena Marshall has more on the fallout behind the president's executive action.
President Biden taking both praise and criticism for his new actions on immigration, coming from both conservative and the progressive flank of his own party. But Biden saying he was left no choice but to act unilaterally on this issue after Congress was unable to move forward on a bipartisan immigration deal not once, but twice.
They know the border is not a political issue to be weaponized. Responsibility we have to share to do something about it. They don't have time for the games played in Washington. Neither do the American people.
While the Biden administration has brought down the record number of border crossers over the past few months, recent data still shows about 4,300 encounters per day in April. This new order would stop processing asylum claims for those crossing between ports of entry once that number exceeds 2,500. It would only reopen at the earliest 3 weeks later, after they have at least 7 consecutive days of crossing below 1,500. Republicans have been calling on him to act within his own authority, railed against the action. While progressives, like the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, called the move by Biden a mistake, and Rep. Jayapal on X called it extremely disappointing. But at the southern border, migrants are saying they've heard this message before, not just from the Biden administration, but from the Trump administration too.
Pues, usted sabe que eso, esas noticias siempre han intencionado. Tenía mucho tiempo también lo mismo, desde que estaba Trump. Quien estaba diciendo que la frontera se iba a cerrar, hicieron una banda, hicieron el muro, todo eso. Pero aún así me entiende el trance de personas que venimos y no te tenemos.
And these actions do resemble actions taken by former President Trump. He utilizes the same mechanism called 212F within the Nationality Act, but not even 24 hours after this has been announced, already the ACLU saying they're going to take legal action, telling Scripps News that this goes beyond what Congress has authorized them to do when it comes to processing asylum claims.
The reason it's illegal is very clear.
The promise is set in the law is you may apply for asylum, quote unquote, whether or not you come to a port of entry or enter between ports. So what Congress has said is if you get on U.S. soil, we will screen you for asylum. Now that doesn't mean everyone gets asylum, but we promised after World War II that we would never send people back to danger without at least screening. So this law, this executive action is inconsistent with what Congress has said, and that's why we successfully challenged a very similar Trump policy.
One immigration lawyer also highlighted that the administration will now require those who are seeking asylum to manifest their fear of torture or persecution on their own, essentially meaning no one would get protected under this new method. And also the New York Times is reporting the administration has cut down the time that asylum seekers can seek a lawyer from 24 hours to only 4 hours for that initial asylum screening. Serena Marshall, Scripps News, Washington.
Sherman, thank you. Let's stay in Washington and go on the scene to Capitol Hill. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is addressing the upcoming Senate vote on the Right to Contraception Act. Let's listen.
I don't see any correlation.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Senator Markey. I want to thank Senators Markey and Hirono and Duckworth, who have been leading the charge on this issue for many, many, many years, actually. And my other colleagues who are here, Senator Baldwin, Senator Durbin, Senator King, Senator Hirono. Oh, I mentioned her. Well, she deserves to mention. And our great leaders, Minnie Timaraju from President of Reproductive Freedom for All, the Virginia State Delegate Marcia Price, Senator, and Karen Stone, the Vice President of Public Policy for Planned Parenthood. And let me start with a disturbing statistic. According to a recent poll by the Kaiser Family Foundation, 1 in 5 U.S. adults worry that the right to contraception is under threat. This is America.
So we're going to be 1, 2, 3?
21st century. What century? 21st century. We're 20, and all those twos, 2022, 2023, the 21st century, and we're still worried about this. And in the same poll, less than half said they felt the right to use birth control was secure. Less than half of Americans in the 21st century are not sure they have the right to birth control. That's more people than in Florida, or Texas, or California. It's astounding that people have to worry about it. Make no mistake about it. How did this happen? Make no mistake.
So they all got to be the same? They're going to be sequential?
Using birth control is one of the many, many shameful consequences of overturning Roe v. Wade. So for those who may say that contraception isn't, that they say that contraception is not under fire, I have 2 questions for you. What about the influx of all the efforts across the country trying to make it more difficult to access contraception? Ask the governors in states that have veto legislation. Ask the legislators who are putting forth legislation in so many states to curtail the right. It is under threat. And also, after years and years of being told that Roe will be protected, is this a gamble any one of us should be willing to take? They said, oh, don't worry. Everyone said, don't worry about Roe. Well, we have real worry about Roe after Dobbs. More than worry. We still have similar worries about contraception if we don't do something about it. This is the mess that Donald Trump and the MAGA Supreme Court and the Republican-led Senate has created. This is the mess that Democrats in the Senate are determined to fix. In short, this is not a show vote. This is a show us who you are vote. Let me say that again. This is not a show vote. This is a show us who you are vote. The Republicans don't want to show who they are.
It's impossible to get 444.
But they're going to have to.
Or 333.
Today we live in a country where not only tens of millions of women have been robbed of their reproductive freedoms, we also live in a country where tens of millions more worry about something as basic as birth control. Utterly evil. It's sickening. It should never happen here in the U.S. But because of Donald Trump, the hard right, the a Republican Senate which is willing to go along with them, it's reality. But today, fortunately, the Senate has the chance to protect reproductive rights by advancing the Right to Contraception Act. I want to thank all my senators, particularly our women senators, who have met day in and day out, fighting for us on this issue. The Right to Contraception Act says you want to access birth control if you're a healthcare advocate, provider wanting to prescribe birth control, the government has no right to interfere. Doesn't that seem like common sense? After all, birth control is something over 90%, 92% of Americans support. Of course, we're already hearing the same predictable, tired, unpersuasive retorts from the other side. That this vote is unnecessary, that birth control could never possibly be at risk, that this is much ado about nothing. That's not true. As I said, go ask the people of Virginia what they think after their Republican governor vetoed a bill that would have protected contraceptives at the state level. Go ask the people of Nevada what they think after their Republican governor also vetoed a bill to protect birth control. To those who say birth
That's Senator Chuck Schumer speaking outside of the Capitol. The Senate will hold an initial vote on a contraception access bill this afternoon that is being championed by Democrats. It is expected to happen around 3:45 East Coast time. It would guarantee access to birth control and prevent states from blocking healthcare providers from prescribing it. Given the near 50-50 split in the Senate, the measure is not expected to pass. But the National Republican Senatorial Committee released a memo yesterday urging its GOP Senate candidates to voice their support for birth control ahead of the vote. In the memo that was obtained by ABC News, NRSC Executive Director Jason Teelman writes, quote, there is not a Republican senator or Senate candidate advocating for restrictions on contraception. Democrats are trying to make this a campaign issue because their policies on the economy and stability have completely failed. End quote. As we head to break, we're going to see right now Jerusalem. Some live pictures coming in here. It is Jerusalem Day there, and according to the Times of Israel, what you're looking at here is a flag march through the old city. Tens of thousands of people going through some very important flashpoints in Jerusalem where tensions, of course, are high. We'll continue to monitor this and keep you posted on any news that comes from it. And a reminder, as we head to break, that we do hope you can check us out online at scriptsnews.com. You can also find us on all social media platforms. You see it here, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Threads. We're back out on the scene in 3 minutes.
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves in giving you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us.
3, 2, 1.
Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want for space-age rental housing, we got them. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we got that too. We got flip phones like the Iris Flip. For someone that doesn't need all that global jumbo and just wants something simple. And we even have watches. We do. No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change, no problem. With our Smart Flex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say it's a road trip out west that end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you out to the next data tier for as little as $5. Then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty, so you won't pay for what you actually need.
Quitaba los alambres.
One of these amazing stores that these about centuries. Celebrity customer service on these switch over. $15
Of course they will.
See that tower out there?
What?
It's a beauty. Supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation.
Okay.
That's why we have this free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation,
oh,
look.
New customers will buy any phone get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st. Call 1-800-485-8390.
Ah. tenía una infección.
Ah, sí, tenía una infección.
Ah. Ah, ok. ¿Y lo qué?
El mismo día, cuando me mandaron a hacer el examen, fui a hacer el examen y le dije, obviamente, ya me había hecho otro examen.
Ah, ok.
Entonces ya cuando en la tarde, acá estoy de emergencia ahorita, me tenía una infección en la piel.
Ah.
Me dijeron, no, creo que fuera un poquito que me dijeron, me metieron una manguerita ahí para sacar la pus.
Ah.
Sí, eso fue todo.
¿Y de qué era? ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Los riñones o qué?
No, en el intestino grueso.
Ah.
Aquí en la parte izquierda.
Ah, entonces casi como que me pasó a mí.
¿De qué? Ajá.
Cuando me pusieron en el hospital.
Ajá. ¿Eso te hicieron a vos también?
Sí.
No. Es porque solo un hoyito me hicieron ahí y sacaron la pus.
Ah.
Y ya cuando me estuve como 3 semanas con ya después me lo quitaron y ya lo me fui a ver el doctor y pero sí, está bien, la cicatriz está cerrando ya, ya porque andaba una bolsa ahí colgada.
Ah, sí, a mí no me iban a poner una, pero sí dijeron que no. Ah, pero ya estás caminando y todo.
Sí, tengo desde que salí del hospital. Pues.
Ah, ok.
Sí. Porque solo el dolor no era mucho, no era un dolor grande que era un dolorcito pequeño, pero me dieron me sacaron la pus que tenía la infección ahí.
Sí.
Ya salí, estuve como 6 días en el hospital.
Ah, ok.
Ahí me dejaron ir para mi casa y me quitaron como las 2 semanas o 3 semanas, me quitaron la bolsa.
Ah, bueno, a vos te gustó mejor, porque a mí me internaron como 3 veces después, yo creo, 3 o 4 veces.
¿Te tuvieron que esperar?
No, porque me tenían que internar cada vez.
No, a mí solo que estuve como 5 o 6 días en el hospital cuando la operación.
Ah, ok.
Pero de ahí ya no volví al hospital.
Ah, está bien, está.
¿Y Francisco está viendo?
Sí, lo llamé el otro día, la semana pasada, está bien.
No.
Ah,
Yo estoy viendo que a ver cómo vienen los huracanes este año.
Ah, sí,
y tienen como 22 o 23 tienen.
23.
Sí, 7 de ellos dicen que van a ser peligrosos.
Ah, siempre dicen, pero tenemos que ver.
Siempre dicen eso y todo. Pero ojalá, porque si sigan así jodiendo mucho como muy fuerte y todo, yo pensaba irme para llamar a Francisco y decirle que cuánto cuesta la renta allá, cómo está la renta allá para rentar apartamento y todo.
Es un poquito menos que aquí. No mucho.
Sí. ¿Ahí donde vive?
Ah, donde vive él no hay apartamentos. Él vive en una comunidad. No, es como se llama HAO, Homeowners Association.
Ah, pero ahí los quieren caros entonces.
Sí, eso solo son casas, ¿no? Y al menos rentan, no sé.
Porque yo estaba pegado con estos huracanes.
Esa bonita de los huracanes.
Y los estaban hablando de los seguros que cuando yo compré esta me salía me estuvo como 2 o 3 años que me salía el seguro de 1.800, 1.900, ¿sabes? Pero ya después ya subió a 2.000 y pico y después ahora que es el último que compré ya me costó 5.000 pesos.
5.000 pesos, y ya
el otro que viene este año que
cuesta más caro que lo quieren subir también.
Sí. Tiene que hacer dinero.
Sí, porque muchas compañías se fueron en quiebra ahora con la ida, se fueron a quiebra y otros tuvieron que cerrar y todo eso, y el que tenía yo ya líder se fue quiebra. El otro que tengo ahorita, pues ese no, pero ya me costó como 4.800, me salió el seguro.
4.000. Sí. Sí, por eso yo nunca me compré una casa porque yo no quería estar con seguros de todas maneras. No. Ay, mira, y Carolina, ¿qué le pasó?
No quiere ir a Guatemala.
Y no tenía la corte en cuánto era en marzo. ¿Terminado qué? ¿Y qué?
No tiene preparado.
¿Y qué le dieron?
Porque Cameron no se presentó. Y Cameron así cosas era lo que quería con Cameron. Y ninguno de los dos fue corte que tenía aquí.
Entonces le botaron las cargas.
Yo no sé por qué no se la botaron, porque me dijo que no, que tiene otro. Ya fue a una, que después de eso ya fue a una. Y entonces le tiene que ir ahora.
¿A una qué? ¿A una corte o qué?
Sí, a una corte otra vez. Pero mismo.
Le mandaron a reschedule.
Sí.
Ok.
Porque cuando no se presenta es que la persona que nos está acusando, le quitan los cargos.
Pues sí.
Y ahora no se los quitaron. Ya ves cómo es la cosa, ¿no? Como cambian todo el tiempo las leyes, ¿eh?
¿Y Cameron todavía está con la cipota?
Yo no le vive. Aquí no me han vuelto a llamar. Él antes tenía la línea y todo, pero ahora ya no. Y yo le dije, mira, no le vas a poner cargos a Carolina. Porque yo pensaba cuando poner en mi testamento que esta casa se le iba a dejar a él. Pero si era así, le digo, no te digo nada.
Entonces Carolina está en la casa, en la plaza.
Sí, allá está. La Carolina le gusta, ¿eh?
No, ok.
Yo le digo que me dé que se venga para que aquí se puede quedar, aquí se puede quedar. Y ahí evitar que el gasto de gasolina que tiene todo el tiempo ir hasta allá todos los días. Pero no quiere.
¿Que trabaja en Melry? ¿Trabaja en Melry?
Sí, en Melry.
Ok.
Es como eso de sándwich ahí.
Firehouse. ¿Y dónde está el Firehouse?
Queda venta y como a media cuadra, después de Kirby, como 4 cuadras más abajo, ahí yendo para Nuevo León.
Ok.
Firehouse,
Fire. Ok.
Porque es de los bomberos.
De los bomberos.
Sí, el viejo, el dueño, trabaja con los bomberos.
Ok.
Sí. Pero le pusieron así. Ya abrieron otro restaurante, le digo que abrieron otro allá al otro lado del lago, en el Covento. Y abrió otro, no sé a dónde, diablos, y ahora le dijo que ya abrió, que va a abrir otro ahí en la plaza. Y entonces ahí se va a quedar ella, ya no va a tener que venir hasta acá.
Sí, porque las tienen en la plaza también. En General de Gaulle.
Van a abrir uno en la plaza.
No, hay una en General de Gaulle. Hay una en General de Gaulle. Al otro lado del río. Al otro lado del río.
Los gobiernos se anda a donde que no abierto. Pero en la plaza no lo habían abierto porque no encontraban diario vive a trabajar. Pero no a trabajar vendiendo sándwiches, sino que a arreglar el comedor.
Parece que tiene como 4. Uno en Metairie, uno en General de Gaulle, otro en Manhattan Boulevard y uno en Bell Chase Highway.
Y COVID.
Ah, ¿tienen más?
Hace poco hubo un COVID.
Ah, ok.
Tiene un montón ya.
Ok.
Pues yo le digo, pues aquí te va a salir bien, a vos te conviene. La va a dejar allá entonces. Ya no sé si la van a dejar.
Ah, está en medio de Clearview y Cleary. No, entre Causeway y Cleary. Entre Causeway y Cleary.
Ya. ¿Es que donde está ella ahorita?
Hay 1, 2, 3,
Yo sé cómo llegar, pero...
como 4 cuadras después de Cleary.
Sí.
Ah, ok.
Pero dice Lidia que ella no quiere, que Carolina ya le dijo que no quiere estar allá.
Es por la niña que va a la escuela.
Sí.
Ah, sí, ese es el que me estaba diciendo a mí. Porque tiene a la niña aquí, a Renita la tiene aquí en la escuela, en Kenneth.
Ah, ok.
Y entonces tiene que estar atrayendo solamente a venirla a dejar. Y le digo, pues la puedes dejar aquí y pero a ver qué vamos a ver.
¿Sabes si está trabajando hoy?
Ah, sí, ahorita está, no, hoy tiene libre.
Ah, ok.
Tiene libre.
Ah, ok.
Miércoles y domingo.
Miércoles y domingo. Ok. Voy mañana pues a comprarme un sándwich pues.
Ah, ok, pues. Ay,
Ok. Bueno.
okay.
Pues llamamos así, yo no sé por qué ustedes no se llaman. Y yo tengo que ser la operadora de la familia.
Sí, lo voy a ver, pero es que no sé todavía cómo va a estar cómo se llama el huracán.
Sí.
Porque allá por allá en Arizona, ahí no pega un huracán. Pero está el cabal de arena.
Sí.
Eso es todo lo que tiene.
Bueno, si te gusta la temperatura seca, ahí está seco todas las veces.
Sí, está caliente ahí.
No es muy caliente, bueno, porque yo recuerdo cuando andábamos afuera, yo no sentía el calor. Bueno, la temperatura estaba en los 80, 90, como así, pero no se sentía el calor caliente.
No, bueno, pues no, pues es que sube hay veces que a los 3 dígitos piden esto, ¿no?
Sí.
A 120, 125.
Sí, pero uno 125.
Sí, hasta en 120, bueno, 25 tal vez no, pero más de 120.
Ok.
Ya está ciertos días.
Sí.
Está caliente ahí.
Sí.
Pero a ver cómo le hago.
¿Tienes el número de teléfono de Francisco?
¿Ah?
¿Tienes el número de teléfono de Francisco?
¿Es el mismo?
Pues sí.
Ajá, bueno, entonces sí lo tengo.
Ok.
Ah, pues.
Bueno, ahí nos vemos. Va. So, where was I? How's Donnie doing? Yeah, still 45. Yeah, he's gonna stay at 45 all day long. All right. Oh. I can do choo. No? 1. What, 3, 1? 2, 2, 1. 1, 2, 2. Not 1, 2, 3. Three, 3, 1. 3, 2, 2. 4, 2, 1.
So fast that by 2030, the higher temperature rise will be all but guaranteed. Brand new data from leading climate scientists released today show the remaining carbon budget to limit long-term warming to 1.5 degrees is now around 200 billion tons. That is the maximum amount of carbon dioxide that the Earth's atmosphere can take if we are to have a fighting chance of staying within the limits.
I got 10.
And the truth is, we are burning through the budget at reckless speed, spewing out around 40 billion tons of carbon dioxide a year. We can all do the math. At this rate, the entire carbon budget will be busted before 2030. The truth is, global emissions need to fall 9% every year until 2030 to keep 1.5.
Okay, so it opened up at 45.64.
But they are heading in the
goes
wrong
down
direction. Last year,
32
they
cents.
rose by 1%.
No, 31 cents.
The truth
No,
is,
32 cents. Yeah.
we're already facing incursions into 1.5 degrees. Global Meteorological Organization
It's 33
reports
cents.
today
Yeah.
that there is an 8% chance that
Yeah, it's
average temperature
it just bounces around like that. I mean, these people,
5-degree limit
the people that are
in
keeping
at
it
least
afloat
one of the next 5 years.
are the ones that keep on
In
buying stock, man.
2015, the chance of such a breach was near zero.
Those small-time investors.
And there is a 50-50 chance that the average temperature
Oh.
of the entire next 5-year period will be 1.5 degrees higher than pre-industrial times. We are playing Russian roulette with our planet. And we need an exit ramp off the highway to climate hell. And the truth is, we have control of the 1.5 degree limit is still just about possible. Let's remember, it's a limit for the long term, measured over decades, not months or years. So stepping over the threshold 1.5 for a short time does not mean the long-term goal is shot. It means we need to fight harder now.
3-3-0.
The truth is, the battle for 1.5 degrees will be won or lost in the 2020s and at the working of leaders today. And all depends on the decisions those leaders take or fail to take, especially in the next 18 months. It's climate crunch time.
302.
The need for action is unprecedented, but so is the opportunity.
That is U.S. Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who called on a tax of fossil fuel profits around the globe, calling companies the godfathers of climate chaos. Let's go on the scene now to Cape Canaveral, Florida. They finally did it. After 2 previous failed attempts, NASA and Boeing launched 2 test pilot astronauts into space today. This happened just within the last hour. Look at this here on your screen. Astronauts Butch Gilmore and Sonny Williams will test the Starliner capsule systems on the way to the International Space Station, and they'll spend about a week there before they return to Earth. Let's go live on the scene to Florida, where NASA and Boeing are providing an update on the launch. Here's NASA Administrator Bill Nelson speaking live.
And so for Boeing and the ULA teams, the NASA teams, congratulations to all of you. Now, Butch and Sonny do what they do best. They're test pilots. And they're going to test this thing from beginning to end. And they're going to certify it on a rotational basis to send crew to the International Space Station. So now with Dragon and Starliner, U.S. is going to have 2 unique human space transportation systems. And that, of course, you always like to have a backup. That makes it safer for our astronauts. And that's why we've started the commercial crew program in the first place. Partnering with U.S. companies to deliver safe and reliable spaceflight at the same time of cutting the costs. So it's different from the old days, but we go with our commercial partners now. And when we expand our fleet of spacecraft, we're doing things to expanding our reach to the stars. And that will be true of our Artemis program as well, where we will have 2 landers to the NASA crews coming to the surface of the moon. So this is a special moment. It's another one of those great markers in history. And it is a program that what NASA does.
There's not 1, 2, 3, not 2, 1.
Space flight is
not 2, 2, 2. I can't do 3, 3, 3.
So my congratulations to the team and your protectors.
3, 3, 3. You can do 2, 3, 2. And 3, 3, 1.
Thank you, sir. Great words.
3, 2, 2.
It's great to be here with you today. Thanks to all of you for being here with us. Thanks for being here with us as we worked a few issues over the past few weeks. I know it's really easy to lose patience as you're waiting for launches to happen. But as I said before, good things are worth waiting for, and I hope you agree with me that today's launch was definitely worth it. It was beautiful. It was great to see the smiles on Butch and Sonny's face as they were getting close in the count, and hearing their voices after they were safely on orbit. It was also really impressive to watch the NASA, Boeing, and ULA teams that worked through the issues over the last few weeks. It's easy to get impatient, it's easy to get tired. I was so impressed with the professionalism of the whole team and the way they kept their priorities in the proper order and made sure that we were really ready to go. There's a lot ahead of us. The crew has a lot of test flight objectives. We get to station, we have some work there at station, and then we have to return.
320.
And there are a lot of different things that the program will be working through as they go through each of those phases, and they'll talk more about that. But I'm really looking forward to seeing 2 U.S. vehicles at the International Space Station. I know Butch and Sonny will probably get a kick out of that. Get a chance to look at the windows and see a Dragon there, see a Starliner there. It's something that I think all of us should be proud of, and that I'm personally looking forward to.
Maybe I could give me
you were hearing a news conference with Boeing and NASA after a successful launch of the Starliner just around 11 a.m. this morning. This was the third try. You might remember over the weekend they were anticipating a launch, but just moments before liftoff, there was a computer issue that halted that launch. Today, things launched successfully. Let's go on the scene now in the State Department. A daily briefing there is expected to begin just about a half hour from now. You can take a live look at the podium. We're back out on the scene after this.
If you're living with diabetes, I'll tell you the same thing I tell my patients. Getting on Dexcom G7 is one of the easiest ways to take better control of your diabetes and help protect yourself from the long-term health problems it can cause. This small wearable replaces finger sticks, lowers A1C, and is covered by Medicare.
Not managing your diabetes really affects your health for the future. The older you get, the more complications you're going to see.
I knew I couldn't ignore my diabetes anymore because it was causing my eyesight to go bad. And my kidneys, I started having issues.
Before the Dexcom G7, doctor's appointments were not something I looked forward to. There was a lot of turmoil.
For my patients, getting on Dexcom G7 is the biggest eye-opener they've ever had.
When I got Dexcom G7, it couldn't believe how easy it was. The small wearable sends my glucose numbers right to my phone or my receiver, which at a glance, I can see it from both high, low, or steady. So I can quickly get my glucose under control and better protect myself from complications.
What do I need to
My
do?
A1C is down to 5.8.
Call now to get started on Dexcom G7, the most recommended CGM brand. Dexcom G7 has changed my life for the better. Now I'm a superstar. My A1C is 5.7.
My A1C has never been lower. It's all the way down to a 7. I go swimming, I ride my exercise bike, and I play with my grandkids. I'm valley of my life.
My wife used to worry about me having diabetes before my Dexcom G7. But now, she doesn't worry as much because she knows.
It gives me a lot of peace of mind. I wanted to be around for it.
Dexcom G7 can improve your glucose control, which helps prevent long-term complications for a longer, healthier life. Call now to receive a free discussion guide for your next doctor visit.
What do these mean?
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do. Our firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, thousands with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them against those responsible. We have local offices throughout the U.S. Mesothelioma really is all we do, and there is no risk to you. Let us put a plan in place for you and your family. Call now.
Call us at 800-642-9300 or go to mesobook.com.
When a car breaks down,
What
a race
is
car driver
this?
would call a pit crew. You should call Endurance.
I've had 4 claims for over $8,700.
Without Endurance, breakdowns can cost thousands. With Endurance, you're covered. And you pick the mechanic you trust.
Right now, you can get $300 off any plans. Plus, a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-855-789-5424 for free quotes.
All right, welcome back. Here's a live look at some of the events that we're following right now. We are expecting the State Department in about a half hour to hold its daily briefing. You also can see a live look from Jerusalem. This is in the Old City. It is Jerusalem Day, with tens of thousands of Israelis marching through some flash of the murder trial of Karen Reed, who you see there on the right. She is charged with murdering her boyfriend, the man you see on the left, John O'Keefe. He is a Boston police officer. She has pleaded not guilty and claims that she has been framed in a cover-up. On the stand right now is Sergeant Yuri Buchanek. He is the supervisor of State Trooper Michael Proctor. Proctor is the lead investigator in this case. He's also a personal friend of many of the other witnesses who have been called to testify. And we were together at the home where Officer O'Keefe's body was found. Let's listen in.
Yes, with cooperating civilians, we typically advise them they were going to be, we schedule an interview. We proceed to their location, convenience, and separate them and get their version of recollection of events that we are inquiring about.
Now, after
you spoke with those three individuals, so yourself and Trooper Proctor at McCabe residence, where is it that you and Trooper Proctor went next? We proceeded to the Good Samaritan Hospital in Brock. 4, 5, 6, and where within the Good Samaritan Hospital did 9. We went to the emergency department. So 5, right? And within the emergency department, were you led to a specific room? Yes, we were. 4, and 5. What, if anything, did you observe when you were in there? Once in the room, we observed Mr. O'Keefe's body on the medical bed of gurney, and his clothing, which had been cut off of him, were on the floor at the foot of the bed, a couple of feet away at the foot of the bed. Now, first, with regard to the clothing, what, if anything, did you do with regard? After viewing Mr. O'Keefe's body, we proceeded to identify the clothing items and bag them into evidence bags, notating which item and the brief description about each item of clothing. Let me ask you just a little bit about that as far as that process is concerned. So when an item of evidence is collected by you or by your units during the course of an investigation, is there sort of a policy or protocol? How are things, what do you do with things when you collect them and take them into custody and evidence? If we deem an item to be of evidentiary value, we identify the item, we take a brief description of it, and we label the evidence bag with that description. We notate who's taken the item into custody, typically who located the item, the time that it's located, and the location from which it was seized or taken or collected. And with regard to items of clothing, is that something that would be placed in just one big bag of clothes, or like how would those be packaged? Mr. O'Keefe's clothing, which was already in one big pile on the floor, we packaged
Okay, jurors, feel free to stand up and stretch.
I got 1, I got 2. Okay, let's try this one. That one. And that. Alright. And then except it goes in the middle.
Alright, you're taking a live look here in Denham, Massachusetts, inside the courtroom for the murder trial with Karen Reed. You can see the emotion on some people's faces as this testimony continues. It's been more than 20 days of testimony. This trial has received a lot of attention, especially in the Boston area. It dates back to 2022. Prosecutors say that Reed, who you saw just a moment ago sitting at the defense table, that she hit O'Keefe, who was her boyfriend, with her SUV, then left him for dead. Now, again, she has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder charges. She says that she is the victim of a cover-up, that she's being framed. We'll continue to monitor this and we'll hear.
It doesn't line up.
Street Health, Health Care for Older Adults. Would you want to visit today?
Doesn't quite fucking up.
I used to think all doctors were the same, but I switched to most female. You see, this isn't your typical doctor's office. Instead of waiting around for me to get sick, they focus on keeping me healthy and feeling good. Got me. That's right. And the best part, everybody folks be careful with experience with people my age.
At Oak Street Health, we specialize in caring for older adults like you.
So the obvious and logical does not work.
Maya, we're ready for you.
Here people get to know me in fashion. I'm listening. This guy takes all the notes, so our doctor is all eyes on me.
Ready to go?
We get to know you better with longer appointment times, including same day and next day appointments.
Who gets their own? Whether it's doctors, nurses,
indicated something's gonna line up with
The plan for him, and we can do the same for him.
these.
Getting the care you need has never been easier because our team members work together to handle all your healthcare needs.
You get all this with Scrubs. You can gather all your medical records and health history. So switch into their doctors, and you can keep living your life your way.
At Oak Street Health, we specialize in caring for older adults like you. Call 800-967-2157 to schedule a visit and see why we are the only primary care providers to carry the AARP name. Oak Street Health.
Tonight on the scene, a live look at Sedona, Arizona. Currently, as you see on the right there, it is going to be hot in the west of the day. Expect to be in Sedona, 100 degrees today and tomorrow. You can see some of the other hot temperatures across the west. Summer hasn't even officially begun. That doesn't happen until later this month. Well, it is the NBA Finals season. The Boston Celtics, the Dallas Mavericks are tipping things off tomorrow night in Boston at the TD Garden. Right now, on the eve of Game 1, the team from Dallas speaking at the podium. Let's listen.
I'll look at Chris Mannix with Sports Illustrated. When Chris Apps was traded, Chris Apps was traded to you guys a few years ago. There were a lot of expectations for the two of you to be successful. Why in your mind did it not work out maybe the way you hoped?
I don't really know. I don't know why it didn't work out. We're still both young. We tried to make it work, but it just didn't work. So, hold on.
Sports. You've talked a lot about what Kyrie has meant to you as a teammate, but did his leadership skills surpass your expectations?
I don't get it.
His leadership is amazing. The way he connects us, I think me and Kai are the leaders of this team. But he's the one that's been in the finals. He's the one that won the finals. So he's the one that is really leading it, and he's keeping us all together and motivated.
Dave right here. Dave McMenamin with ESPN. One of your favorite players brought up LeBron James, just called Kyrie Irving the most gifted player the NBA has ever seen. Just as someone who obviously you're a basketball player as your occupation, as your passion, as your life goal. What's it like seeing the stuff you can break out in practice, in game situations, and you guys kind of deep in each other's bags by being around one another?
I mean, some things he's done, especially in practice. It's insane. You know, the change scheme, trying the game.
How about a pattern?
It's insane that he can. I never see nobody make those shots, and I never see nobody try those shots. And obviously, we know the handles. Position shots are crazy, and it's amazing just to experience that life. Right in front of them.
Jesús Quiñones, Telemundo, te quiere preguntar, ¿has estado en finales anteriores? ¿Cómo crees que esta experiencia te ha preparado para estas finales?
¿En qué finales?
Campeonatos anteriores.
Bueno, en Madrid, así que eso fue un buen recuerdo. Pero bueno, nunca he estado en las finales de NBA, es muy diferente, así que pero estoy preparado.
Eric Mora de Telemundo Dallas, pues cuéntanos qué es lo que más estás disfrutando de estas finales y qué significa para ti enfrentar a tu ex compañero Kristaps Porzingis y
And that's the multilingual Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. Game 1 tomorrow night, Mavericks-Celtics, tips off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Austin. I want to thank you for joining us on the scene. I'm Chris Stewart. For the audience leaving us, your local programming is next. You can always check us out on scriptsnews.com. And if you're staying with us, we have much more headed your way on the scene. Here's what we're following next hour, a live look at several events developing across the world.
We love being outside, but the sun makes our deck and patio too hot to enjoy.
Now, thanks to our new Sunsetter retractable awning, we can select full sun or instant shade in just 60 seconds.
It's 20 degrees cooler under the Sunsetter, and we get instant protection from harmful UV rays.
Well, that doesn't work.
Pricing starting at less than $1,000. Transform your outdoor living space into a shaded retreat your family will love. When you call, we'll rush you a special $200 discount certificate with your free awning idea kit. You get your Sunsetter for as little as $799. But this is a limited time offer.
For over 20 years, Sunsetter has been the best-selling retractable awning in America.
Call now for this free awning idea kit, packed with great awning solutions that will let you enjoy your deck or patio much more often. Plus, get this $200 discount certificate that will bring you your Sunsetter for as little as $799. But this is a limited time offer. Call now.
Sunsetters are backed with up to a 10-year limited warranty.
More than 1 million families in America own and love their Sunsetter. Now you too can discover why love is better under a Sunsetter. It's like putting an extension on your home. And talk about options. Choose motorized or manual. And for just a little extra, add LED lighting for evening enjoyment.
There are so many incredible styles to choose from in our free awning idea kit. Get a custom-built awning without the custom-built price.
Call now to get the whole Sunsetter story. You get this free awning idea kit, plus a $200 discount certificate. And there's no obligation. With Sunsetter, you'll create the ultimate outdoor living space, perfect for entertaining friends. Call now for your free awning idea kit with local dealer info and $200 discount certificate. Life is better under a Sunsetter. And now let's save.
I've been having stomach troubles. It's either yogurt, pork, or citrus. Or almonds. Maybe it's cinnamon? Now, I could start by removing a lot of things from my diet and adding them back in one at a time until I find the culprit. Or I could find out what might actually be bothering me before removing and adding foods back in again. I'm gonna do that.
I'm Chris Stewart. For the next 2 hours, we'll take you everywhere you need to be around the world live. Here's what we're following right now. We're expecting the State Department to hold its daily briefing about 15 minutes from now. Overseas in Jerusalem, about 8 o'clock there right now. A Jerusalem Day march is going on through the Old City. Tens of thousands of people there. Also taking a live look at some D-Day commemorations underway, marking 80 years since the Allies landed on the shores of Normandy. And a live look at Wall Street, the Dow and the Green, so is the NASDAQ and S&P. But we begin this hour on the scene in Wilmington, Delaware, where Hunter Biden's federal gun trial continues. Legal affairs correspondent Abijoy Burnett is live on the scene outside the courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware. Abijoy, what's been going on inside the courtroom today?
So we heard from two additional witnesses today, Chris, and they're people who were formerly romantically involved with Hunter Biden. The first person who was called as anticipated is Kathleen Buell. She is the ex-wife of Hunter Biden. They got married in 1993, and then they got divorced about 22 years later. And she described what it was like when she first learned that Hunter Biden was using drugs. She described a moment of finding a crack pipe at their residence, and she directly confronted her husband at the time and asked him, what was this? And she told the court that he said point blank, it is a crack pipe. She then also described to the court periods of time between 2015 and 2019 where she would check their vehicles. They had at least 3 vehicles, is what she told the court. She would check them to make sure that there wasn't drugs inside the vehicles because their daughters were using those cars. Her testimony was really short. It wasn't exceptionally long. She was in and out, and it appeared as if when she was walking out of the courtroom, she looked over in the direction where Hunter Biden's wife is, Melissa Cohen Biden, along with the sister of the First Lady, and it appeared as if there was a smile in that direction. Remember that this is a relationship that's perhaps still ongoing because they do have kids together, so they may very well be in spaces together, even though they're now divorced. So that was the first witness who came in today. The second witness is someone, her name is Zoe Keston, and she is still on the stand. We're at a point right now where there is a lunch break. She's been on the stand for quite some time, but she also describes what it's been like for her to have had a previous relationship with Hunter Biden. She said she met him in December of 2017 at a gentleman's club in New York City, and she said there was a request for a private dance, and that led to something else, to an extended relationship over a period of several months. And what the prosecutors are having her go through at this moment is her experience with Hunter Biden when she says, she testified that he used drugs. There is an extended period of time that we've gone through at this point, starting in December of 2017, and now we are up to the first quarter of 2018 as she recounts her experiences with Hunter Biden. And something that was striking is the fact that she said his demeanor never changed, and all the time that she witnessed him using drugs, using crack cocaine, his demeanor never really changed. Just to put this all into context for everyone, the time period that prosecutors really want to hone in on here is October of 2018. That is when Hunter Biden purchased that weapon. And if he in fact was addicted to drugs at that time, that is a violation of the law. That is what prosecutors are alleging. That is why he faces these 3 federal criminal gun charges. And that's what prosecutors have to prove, that at this particular time in history, when he bought that weapon that he held on to for about 11 days, Hunter Biden was addicted to drugs. And before these 2 women were called on the stand, we also heard follow-up testimony from that FBI special agent. And what defense attorneys were able to kind of poke some holes into is the fact that there was a period of time, even though she assessed several months of his text messages and his communications, where it really appeared as if he was trying to find drugs from the East Coast to the West Coast, wherever he was. There was a period of time in October of 2018 where it appeared as if there was no reference of that. So that is what the pattern here? Have to assess. What can we expect when we go back inside the courtroom? This young lady, whose name is Zoe Keston, she's expected to be back on the witness stand as the prosecution continues with the direct examination of her. And then defense attorneys will be able to do a cross-examination. And then there's the possibility, depending on how quickly things go, that we could hear from Haley Biden. She is the widow of Beau Biden, who is the brother of Hunter Biden. There are a lot of names that we have to keep up with here, but she at some point also had a romantic relationship with Hunter Biden, Chris.
Our legal affairs correspondent Abijoy Burnett live for us on the scene in Wilmington, Delaware. Abijoy, thank you. Now I want to go on the scene to Capitol Hill. The Senate will hold an initial vote on a contraception access bill this afternoon that's being championed by Democrats. It will guarantee access to birth control and prevent states from blocking healthcare providers from prescribing it. Congressional correspondent Dana Reed joins us live from Washington. Nate, I know you've been speaking to lawmakers today. What are they telling you? What's your gauge on what could happen here?
You need to line it up on this side or you line it up on that side?
It's important to protect the right to contraception, allow folks to access Plan B, all those other potential emergency contraceptive techniques. We're seeing some pushback. Applicants, Senate Majority Leader, to the Senate floor this morning,
like a number or something. Let me see. We're gonna make it
access to contraception and passing this, at least the first step of bill.
In a perfect world, they'll say you can access birth control without government interference.
Like this
shouldn't be necessary. But But given the erosion of reproductive rights in America, today is absolutely vital. If Republicans truly support protecting access to birth control, then they should vote yes on moving this bill forward.
I just spoke with the Republican senator for the authority committee. He told me that he's just liberty protection from this bill. He will taking this issue effectively is a messaging vote from Democrats several months after the election.
And on that note, we've heard, Nate, from Majority Leader Schumer, kind of this term of putting lawmakers on the record. We heard that with the bipartisan water bill when he brought that up last month. How effective, as we take a live look here at the Senate on the screen, how effective is this tactic of getting Republicans or Democrats, getting them to put their, kind of just getting them on the record of how they feel about an issue?
Well, look, in many cases, these votes are, being held for the purpose of cutting a campaign ad, saying, look, I voted to do this, I voted to do that. Republicans and Democrats both utilize this tactic to put the party in tough position.
All right, I guess I'm going to have to go on the net.
Senate,
find out how this is done.
Now, with Democrats in tough position ahead of the election. So Democrats
because I have run out of ideas.
That's some Republicans going as far as calling some of the votes that the Senate Majority Leader is calling for part of his quote-unquote show vote summer. Take a listen.
Well, it's a messaging bill.
I have run out of ideas.
I think for them, it's creating division where division doesn't really exist. And by the way, there's no state that is looking to violate access to contraception. So it's a fraud from the beginning.
But when I get here, they don't line up.
To be able to take credit for something that they believe they win on, and to blame others for they clearly lose.
I oppose that particular bill because in addition to protection of contraception, which everybody agrees
It's not right there, but it doesn't line up with
religious protections and other legislation, and I just don't believe we should be pulling back religious protections.
So Republicans, it sounds like they're going to vote against this bill when it comes up for its initial vote later today. Democrats largely going to vote for it. Republicans have their own contraceptive bill to protect which they say separately contains, they say, more religious protections. One of their chief concerns with this bill, but again, this is likely a vote just so vulnerable Democratic incumbents will be able to have some political cover as they go to as voters go to the polls and as they start campaigning in their home states across the country.
Our congressional correspondent, David Reed, live on Capitol Hill. Nate, thank you. Let's go on the scene to the State Department. The daily briefing there expected to start at 1:15, so it's about 5 minutes from now. We're back out on the scene after this break.
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves on getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Woo! Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we've hardly got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want with space-age metal housing, we got them. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip.
I give it that up.
Doesn't need all that mumbo jumbo and just wants something simple. And now we even have watches.
We do.
No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change,
No problem.
with our Smart Flex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. And then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty. So you only pay for what you actually need.
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Will our award-winning customer service help me switch over or add a line for $15 to make my own family plan?
Of course they will.
Is it easy?
Easy as pie.
You're kidding me.
You see that tower up there?
Didn't I do that?
It's a beauty. There are thousands more like
No, I
it
didn't do
working
that.
hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we
I was right. It is a
free
pack.
guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of
But it
activation,
just wasn't lining up. Why wasn't it lining up?
Oh, look. New customers who buy a new phone get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st. Call 1-800-485-8390 or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
This is Elaine. Please leave a message.
I can't get on my line.
I'm sure it's nothing.
I've called her 5 times.
I'm sure she's free.
She always picks up on the first call.
You're gonna make yourself sick. We've been worrying you all over.
Hon?
Hello, this is Mike. Your mother had an emergency, and we dispatched paramedics to her home.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what happened?
She involved in her
Oh, this is the last one.
Paramedics are helping her.
Thank you.
Is Grandma okay?
She's gonna be okay. Five words.
Wow, we're missing the last one.
Saves a life every 11 minutes. With one simple touch of a button, Life Alert sends help immediately. Report a medical emergency or an intruder. Life Alert sends first responders fast.
For information or a free brochure,
That
call
one, and that, that's not it?
1982. 800-989-1982.
No.
800-989-1982.
That one.
Welcome back. We're taking a live look in France. Ceremonies on the eve of the 80th anniversary of D-Day now underway. Princess Anne is attending their ceremony. Again, live look here from France. President Biden is in that country right now. He landed earlier this morning ahead of tomorrow's anniversary. He was greeted by the Honor Guard as Air Force One landed in Paris. The president will mark the anniversary tomorrow with a visit to the beaches of Normandy. That is where U.S. forces landed on June 6, 1944, to begin the liberation of France and the rest of Europe from Nazi occupation. The White House says the president will also be meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky while in Normandy to discuss ongoing U.S. support for Ukraine in its war with Russia. Also on the president's schedule, he will be joined by a special group of veterans, men who took part in the D-Day landings 8 decades ago. National correspondent Dan Grossman joins us live now. Dan, I know you spoke to some of those veterans. What did they tell you about this journey they're on going back to France?
Chris, I mean, 80 years ago, they say that they still have haunting memories about what transpired in their time over there. As you mentioned, there's going to be more than 60 veterans who are going to be traveling on this trip. There's excitement. They get to bond with one another, share their time overseas with one another. But for others, it will be a somber experience seeing the headstones of their brothers who died during that fateful battle. And for others, it will be a hero's welcome.
Our lives are made up of milestones. At the ripe age of 99. Class Petty Officer Clarence Holland is about to start a new one that, in many ways, will be a postcard to one that was already written 80 years ago. It's the ages of 30 France. Holland and more than 60 other World War II veterans will visit the historic site by way of a group gathered by American Airlines and others to honor our nation's heroes.
Sometimes words can't describe the feeling I have about what we're doing.
This is the send-off from Dallas-Fort Worth. These veterans will be accompanied by 230 cadets, medics, and military on the 80th anniversary of a battle that cost 2,500 American lives that turned the tide against the Nazis in what became known as the largest amphibious invasion in the history of war. At 96, Senior First Class Willie Clements will be the youngest to embark on this new travel. He served in Japan, but as with so many here, feels attached to this historic place. Like Clements, this trip will be the first time many of these men and women will see it. The sands that hosted one of the bloodiest battles of the war. For others, it will not. The expectation brings with it an emotion we've all felt, but not with the depth reserved for those.
I give up on this one too.
I got back home
Documents facts.
I gave up on this one too.
I didn't see the family more. We always was on so it's very remembrance of them. We don't get fucked something like this here. Until that moment comes, return through weapons.
I didn't see that.
Where you're on the wild learning.
I did not see that.
Return.
I could use the scanner too.
Will be forever changed, having full
Scan it?
good. But no, it's just been good.
That's what I couldn't do.
It's good to it, and you've been good to it in return,
Alright.
sir.
The average age of those 60 veterans who traveled over to France is more than 100 years old. The eldest of the group's 107, he was saying, still, 8 decades later, he still has haunting memories of what transpired on those beaches and still wakes him up at night, Chris.
Yeah, powerful reporting, Dan. To see the emotion 80 years later, just incredible. National correspondent Dan Grossman for us live in Denver. Thank you. So let's go live.
I did not see that.
Event underway in France. Live pictures here at this event. Tomorrow will mark 80 years since the event. We'll be right back.
Tonight at 8, only on Scripps News. Feeling drained and run down? That's because modern diets like the superfoods our ancestors thrived on. Primal origins from horseback harnesses rich nutrients from colostrum and B4 to provide superfood nutrition your body craves. Find Primal Origins at Walmart today.
Whether you're a professional driver or just a fan, vehicle breakdowns are costly. It started tugging.
It started making some real.
Oh, that's no help.
The last thing I remember is just the engine cut out.
If your check engine light comes on tomorrow, the repair could easily cost thousands.
Here's the transmission.
It's an exhaust leak.
Broken axles.
But with Endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a costly repair again.
They covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
I had a seat sensor that went out, $1,400. Endurance paid it. We got a brand new transmission, and we never seen the repair bill.
Use any certified mechanic you want. Just bring your car in, and Endurance will pay them direct. All major parts are covered.
What I like about Endurance, they don't play games, there's no middleman. They're a solid company. If I didn't have Endurance, I would have paid
That is no help at all.
$7,000 out of pocket to repair my vehicle. Something is going to break down. Make Endurance pay for it.
With Endurance, your car repair costs go way down, while your car's life expectancy goes way up, allowing you to drive more and pay less.
One claim alone saved me more than $4,000.
I've had 5 claims, and that is $3,500 that I've kept in my pocket.
So, who's going to pay for your next car repair? You or Endurance?
Whether you put 10,000 or 100,000 miles a year on your car, if it's less than 20 years old, Endurance has you covered with unlimited miles. Plus, your plan covers 24/7 roadside assistance anywhere in the country. All right, now get $300 off any plan, plus a full year of our top-tier elite benefits, a $2,000 value free, and all Endurance plans come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. But you have to act now.
Call 1-833-496-9843. That's 1-833-496-9843.
The Veteran Fleet.
One.
With deliberate detail and modern functionality. For the indoor enthusiast. Check in new.com.
Aggressors around the globe.
We are facing an elevated threat issue.
We need all the tools.
What am I looking for?
Keep Americans safe.
It's two options. You either become defensive as a new company or
We can't take our eye off the ball of people that want to.
What am I looking for?
The next 4 years, Scripps News reports and Williams. Presented on 38 Central. Scripps News.
Welcome back around the scene in Washington at the State Department. Briefing spokesperson Matthew Miller is addressing a situation in Lebanon this morning where gunmen were enclosed with the words Islamic State and ISIS opened fire on the U.S. Embassy outside the capital of Beirut before he was shot and captured by Lebanese soldiers. Let's listen in.
Yeah, so before we get into the rest of the Middle East, can you just
does that have to do with that?
The gunman was arrested at the visit. The U.S. Embassy remains in contact with the Lebanese authorities as they investigate the incident. In terms of
that's what that had to do with that.
Immediately, we achieved accountability of all official U.S. citizens and locally employed staff.
Alright.
We didn't see close today on this visit, but plans to be open for business as usual tomorrow. So we're the DSS coordinator are aware that the individual who was arrested was wearing what appears to be ISIS insignia, but we are in full investigation with the Lebanese authorities into actual motivations.
Saying that there have 5 people along the shooters that have been apprehended in Lebanon. At this point, is there any indication that there is kind of cell working against these?
We have something set on the road. It's an ongoing investigation. I don't want to get ahead of that.
I was just saying in reading cover, you were giving the Israeli Prime Minister's comments on the northern front of Lebanon. How worried are you that could stay under control at any time?
So we do remain incredibly concerned about the risk of isolation along the Israel-Lebanon border, something we've been concerned about since the immediate aftermath of October 7th. And we have been engaged in intense diplomatic conversations and intense diplomatic negotiations to avoid the conflict from escalating beyond control. Now, a few things. Number one, we said yesterday, it is an untenable situation for Israel right now, that there are tens of thousands of Israeli citizens who cannot return to their homes in order to Israel because it's not safe to do so, because of the reality of constant Hezbollah shelling and drone attacks in the area. That said, the government of Israel has long maintained, they said it publicly too, that their preferred solution to this conflict is a diplomatic one. And we continue to pursue diplomatic resolution because we don't want to see an escalation of the conflict, which would just lead to further loss of life from both Israelis and the Lebanese people, and would greatly harm Israel's overall security and stability in the region. So we have two things. One is the strategy we've been pursuing all along, but then secondly, one of the reasons we think a ceasefire in Gaza is so important is because that ceasefire would unlock the potential for us to actually achieve lasting calm in the north, and it's one of the reasons we continue to pursue it. Thank you. Today marks the time you got whatever was kind of out, so I don't know if I'll be any more clear in my answers, but I hope I will be showing on them.
Alright, we'll take it from today marks the 57th anniversary of the great activation of peace truce in the West Bank and Gaza. And just to give you some of the things that happen on a daily basis, they blew up the homes in Dublin. They sit beside England saying that the killing of people in the West Bank is unacceptable to people, and so on and so on and so on. I mean, my question to you, how long does the Palestinians do it? Should they do a 57-year occupation? Shouldn't in that time for the United States of America to make good so many times over the decades that this occupation was done, or maybe you don't feel that this occupation is done.
Right. So, if you look at the work that we have been doing is to establish an independent Palestinian state, to answer the Palestinian people's legitimate political aspirations. One of the things you heard the president speak to on Friday when he outlined this ceasefire proposal that is still pending with Hamas is that we want to resolve the immediate crisis in Gaza. We want to see an end to the death and destruction there. But then we also believe that the acceptance of that proposal could lead us to long-term peace, long-term stability, and of course self-determination for the Palestinian people.
Look at what this president has done.
A 2 or a 4?
In terms of,
that's an even number.
The way and the prestige of the United States.
This one is
they could to stop this thing. They are not.
a 1 or a 3?
We see this
a 2 or 2.
But that's 8 months. Which is a full part of the last 7.
3?
The entire is probably.
We're watching live the State Department briefing underway right now with Matthew Miller at the podium. I want to thank you for being with us. I'm Chris Stewart. For the audience leading us to the local programming is next. If you're staying with us, we have much more headed your way on the scene, a live look. Once again, several stories we will continue to follow this next half hour.
Sometimes it's hard to see past the warning repair or replacement costs all around your house. Finally, you can stop seeing money and start saving money with First American Home Warranty. First American covers the systems and appliances you depend on every day. Air conditioning, refrigerator, washer and dryer, electrical, plumbing, even your garage door, and more.
We have our hot water tank replaced, washer fixed, and our upstairs and downstairs safety units.
That things won't break down. That's why I tell all my customers, the First American before your next repair. There's always something that's going to break.
What just happened?
Once our system breaks down, First American sends a
Lost power.
contractor to fix it. And if they can't
Okay, you don't need to freak out yet. All I need is to somehow get the lights back on.
but service is like that. We have a contractor out within 24 hours because he said, I want you guys to go another day without heat. As a contractor, they're so easy to deal with. They truly want to do right by their members. Members pay low monthly rates with unlimited claims and 24/7 customer service. And filing a claim does not increase your rate.
We've saved thousands of dollars in First American that we've been able to reinvest into our home.
I went to more than one, and this was the best. First American has been a trusted name for decades, and is highly rated by customers on major review sites. And if all through what they said are going to do, that's everything.
So we've already peers that have come through First American, but not being paid for many times over.
And now you can lock in your low monthly rates. All plans include no questions asked, money back guarantee, and flexible payment options so you can never pay for cover repairs again.
Call 1-800-917-5047. That's 1-800-917-5047 for your free no obligation group. So call me.
Look, we know it's going to be a big change.
But it's the right thing to do.
Off.
Which is why we got Sling TV.
So we can watch live TV on
Dad gets last words and news and I get my reality shows.
We don't look big. I can just look at hundreds of channels for free.
Sling is really keeping this family together.
So, off,
Join us on the scene of the Stewart events that are following right now. The federal gun trial, Hunter Biden continuing as we speak. Live Wilmington, Delaware. So monitoring Wall Street, the Dow trading in the green right now. And it's more than years since D-Day landing in Normandy, France. Live at a ceremony ahead of that anniversary taking place in France right now. The president is in France today. But we will begin this half hour at the State Department where they are holding their briefing.
That thing is in here. There's no way we can explain it. I have to find a way to this is echo,
incidents inside Gaza to assess legal compliance with international humanitarian law. Those assessments continue.
I mean,
I got
only doing the guy, this is a very significant right. I think it's pretty cool. So it was the rain.
hey, no need to be so aggressive.
November, pulled out, and then they went back in which is sort of a military strategy. So it's very significant that people in Palestine
All kinds of research, you've seen make the point that the fact that they had in the front of the table for the application, they had prepared an application that they pre-intended to make clear. It's fine that we need more than a military strategy for eventually getting in a conflict, we also need a political strategy as well. With respect to the specific claim, what happened there, I'm just not going to get into which incident we are sensitive about. We have a number of documents that were released under September. We're looking at those compliance with international
right point which we talked about before, the ban and the lack of ability for international journalists to get into Gaza, and the fact that will not spin enough. It's like, large numbers of humanitarian workers come being able to get in and out.
Maybe, it's like Simon said.
Find out what's happening in Gaza. These situations are very fast about the need for transparency so that we can work together.
So I'd love to speak to the Israeli government. I know they have obviously their safety issues, but I don't speak for them. I don't think we have raised this issue with the Israeli government. It's pretty clear that we need Israeli autonomy able to operate things like that. Now, of course, there are safety issues. You have to have the ability to do so without jeopardizing military operations as standards and as the military operates. We need military operations that often go through their own. And they're actually covering what we need to autonomy to cover the war and stop the next journalists and Gaza. A lot of what the world knows is happening in Gaza is precisely the plan because of the work the journalists do, sometimes with incredibly heavy consequences. We support that work. We continue. We think Gaza will have enough.
But apart from safety issues, which, some of the organizations are experts working in for them, they know they're absolutely critical of it. Do you have any good reason why international journalists shouldn't be able to get into Gaza?
I'm going to say, on the other hand, they should be honest.
How about?
I was going to ask, I think my own still hold up one of the mosques was probably falling around in the last hour. So 6 days ago, the president, announced publicly that the new ceasefire deal was on the table, already agreed to by the Israelis. I was going to ask, is there a concern, or if this is just as you would expect it to be, that 6 days in, there didn't seem to be any back and forth, any movement on Hamas's side?
So, a couple things. Number one, I think that a good time to get answer that from Hamas because there's evidence in response to Hamas political officials who were in Gaza. They transmitted to Sinwar, the military wing, the army in Gaza, and international communications that were a little difficult, and it takes time to get an answer that. We don't think this auditing process would take a long time for Hamas to consider, given that the proposal that was submitted to them last Thursday evening is virtually identical to one they said several weeks ago they would agree to. So we would look for a response from them as soon as possible because the benefits that this proposal offers to the Palestinian people are real, they're tangible, they would be immediate, so we think Hamas ought to accept as quickly as possible.
Just clarity, when you say a version that they agreed to 2 weeks ago, is that the one that they spoke publicly about and said it's agreed to in itself? Next question is Russia, Canada, There's some pretty widespread reporting now that Russia is trying to essentially scare the international community, but Americans in particularly who are on the Olympics. So, and they're putting out fake terror warnings, they're putting out reporting online that people are sort of giving back their tickets and canceling flights because it's going to be so unsafe to attend the games. The French spoke about this back in April, but it seems like the efforts have ramped up. I was just wondering if you had a message for Americans hoping to attend the game.
It is a bit better though. It's more challenging.
Yeah, I would say first of all, it's not surprising to see that the Kremlin seeking to disrupt the games with disinformation from the Nuremberg process. And that's especially not surprising that they're doing with respect to the Olympics, where their athletes are banned from competing on the Russian flag because of the long history of using their competition in the Olympics. When it comes to the message for people who aren't attending, I think they should look at the information that law enforcement puts out, look at the information that the French government puts out. We've been working with the French government for some time to ensure a safe, secure Olympics, and we'll continue to do so.
I have a question on the Israel-Lebanon border.
So, you're kind of asking us to, ignore the public statements of Prime Minister May and other members of the Iranian military that they're ready to launch an offensive. Behind the scenes they tell you they don't want war, but can you say whether the US has intelligence or have they been able to see whether Israel is actually preparing the ground for the offensive? There's nothing that you can suggest that they are.
So I'm not going to answer the second question with respect to that. And I also don't think you should ignore what they say publicly is important, but I want to say what they said publicly about the practical what they said privately. Look, they think they're all wrong, but they want to resolve this situation one way. Using both largely the same language that you've seen them use in public, including the language that you've seen them use in public for the past day. But they also emphasize, as you said in some of their statements over the last few days as well, that they want to see a diplomatic resolution, but they're prepared for an resolution. And so we're trying to avoid military escalation. We're trying to pursue a diplomatic resolution. As I said, this comes back kind of to the situation that we've been in since October 7th. The longer the conflict in Gaza goes on, the more risk there is of further regional escalation, the more risk there is of escalation in the north of Israel, of turning into a full-scale conflict with Hezbollah, the more risk there is of further conflict in the West Bank, the more risk there is of other groups being drawn into war, as we saw flare up earlier in the past 8 months when we were dealing with any proxy attacks in Iraq, against U.S. forces and U.S. interests. So we're continuing to try to manage that escalation to prevent it from happening, but that's why, this is just at the fundamental, keep coming back to this answer, is why at a fundamental strategic level, we're trying to pursue this ceasefire, because we do think it helps unlock region-wide stability, and make region-wide stability much more possible, including in the north of Israel.
It's a potential action Israel could take in terms of, crossing the border and escalating from their side. When it comes to Rafah, we had this, you've been quite clear that the US does disapprove of the full-scale operation in Rafah, so there's sort of a warning attached to that, and then potentially the US will change policy for Israel based on that. But there's a lot of, you sort of say you don't want them to go in, but if they do, there's no sort of warning attached to that you might actually change policy.
It's not going to deal with hypothetical. I would note though that you say that the Israeli government saying they are ready for military operations necessary is different than saying that they made a decision to do that military operation. We were still in a place where we believe they prefer a diplomatic solution to what they said to us past.
To be clear on this, you said that obviously you guys want this ceasefire in order to avoid the risk of escalation in the north, but the ceasefire would actually include any kinetic type operations in the north, right?
The ceasefire is an agreement between Israel and Hamas. Obviously, the north is a different terrorist organization as well as coming in a different process, but we believe ceasefire is not just about the possibility of further development in the north.
I don't remember what position they were in.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and press
Hi, I'm David from Canada. Today we're all watching our budget and making sure we found what matters most. One thing that should really matter is dental insurance. Because the fact is, great oral health is critical to your overall.
It's 4 o'clock.
Your overall health matters most to us. That's why
I'm getting some trackball, so.
keep your teeth and gums healthy.
So, let's go and quit for the day.
Online. HumanityDental.com for a free quote. Help you choose from a range of dental plans to fit your whole family's needs. Plans are affordable, starting as low as $18 a month. That's only 60 cents a day. Plus, Humana Dental has plans with low deductibles. Just call the number on your screen or visit us online at humanidental.com for a free quote. We're here to help. You'll find getting dental insurance has never been easier. Easy to enroll, easy to understand, and easy to use.
Gotta disable them.
That's a fact. With savings on basic procedures like fillings, extractions, and more. You'll also get 100% coverage for in-network or
That's it. That's it for the day.
Dental offers savings on major procedures.
At least I finally got a challenge.
Do you have a dental condition?
I think it's like
At Humana Dental, you won't be turned down for coverage. Need coverage soon? At Humana Dental, you can use your new benefits in as little as 5 days. And you can choose from over 100,000 dentists and specialists. Humana also offers plans as low as $12 a month, including coverage for exams, plus lenses and frames, or contacts. Questions?
All right.
To talk to us today. We're here
That's
to
it.
help you. Because when it comes to easy to use, affordable dental insurance, it pays to do
1 gigabytes? What?
Call now.
Someone did an hour?
For information and free quote.
Pretty sure we can get longer than an hour.
Humana. A more human way to help care.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been here more than an hour.
Over 13 million Americans
Anyway,
in identity theft.
that's it for today. It's Wednesday.
Waiting on just right.
Yeah, I got an unboxing coming up. And I think some of you might like. So,
Security number, major driver's license.
until it comes in, I'll play this some more. And we'll see. Bye. Bye. Goodbye, darling.
That's not me.
Goodbye.